Hello, chat.
Can you talk about the campaign?
I can talk a little bit about the campaign, and I will do so.
Okay.
I am liking it. I think it's pretty
Oh,
good. The video I did was kind of just like I gotta get something out, so I'll talk about like what the game actually is on here. Probably just clip that out and put that up on the site too.
yeah.
Oh man, I'm tired though. Kept me up late.
What, the Childs?
No, the Halo. Just getting that done.
The Halo?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the kid was up too for a little bit. But I think at least one of them seems like they're feeling better now. That's something. And
Good.
Steph's off through the next week, starting today, which is awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Everybody really like my flag joke on Grub Snacks.
I was not a fan. I didn't like it very much.
I love outing you as a bad teammate.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
Oh man, I want to play Halo multiplayer right now instead of doing work.
Why don't we should fucking cancel this shit?
Yeah.
Nobody's watching.
Yeah.
Hey, Chad, would you rather see us play Halo or like do the podcast? Nothing happened this week. What happened this week?
I don't know. There's a lot of news here. Mike Minotti went through the news and deleted some stuff. That's always him just editing, being like, we're not going to talk about this shit. People are like, hey, he's probably interested in this one thing, and I saw him delete that, and I'm like, oh, he's not interested in that.
He deleted all the Riot Force thing.
He deleted what was here. Let me look in the Discord. What was it? Project. It was Project something or another. Let's see here.
Oh, let me check. Oh, where? Oh, it's in GamesBeat Decides. This is a lot of news.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, Jeff, the thing that we all signed up for was the review thing. You were in something special for this preview thing.
Yeah, I just signed an NDA and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, that makes more sense then.
It's mega NDA.
Get in here. We open up Streamlabs. Oh, we're live.
Oh, we got it.
Yeah, we're live. That's all right. Sorry, we didn't say anything. That's fine. We're allowed to talk about that now.
Are we? Maybe. Probably.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, people have code now. I mean, the thing I have is the game. Like, I'm not like it's not going to stop working on me. So it's just the full thing.
All right.
I complained to Xbox PR and like, hey, they said when I called them on Saturday to get my Xbox replaced that they would send it, like I would get a follow up within 72 hours. It's been 5 days. Can you guys help me out? And then I got a call this morning from a weird company. I didn't recognize it, and they kept calling me. So I did the Google like call screening thing so I could see who it was. I was like, hey, this is Freddie from Xbox. I'm like, oh, okay. And I answered, and they're like, okay, we'll get this sent out to you. So that's finally coming.
Wow.
I realized I could probably actually play the game on Xbox Series S. I could probably just do that instead, but whatever. Maybe I'll play that.
PC. You have lots of options. That's right. You have a Series S.
I can't play. It says this one's not. I don't have. It's not working on PC because it's through the Xbox Preview app thing.
Oh, I see. Okay, let me get my microphone.
Oh man, I want Xbox Gaming Cloud to be out.
Excuse me.
What is taking them so long?
Jeff, did you accidentally delete the part in our rundown where we talk about the games we're playing?
That's entirely possible. Yes, I did.
I mean,
are you gonna forget about them?
That's the thing. Yeah, I mean,
yes, I would.
Okay, Jeff actually might. Jeff needs it more than I do.
Actually, I don't even look at. By the time we're at that point in the show, I don't even look at the rundown anymore. But yes, games, and then we just do bold.
I had already filled mine out too. What a waste of my goddamn time, Jeff.
When did you do it? Like just a couple minutes ago?
No, before you changed the news.
Oh, okay. All right, then yes.
Like an hour ago, because I prepare ahead of time.
I definitely deleted it then, yes. Right.
Old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind. My old acquaintance. I don't know why I'm singing it as obnoxiously as possible.
I mean, can you help
That's
it?
the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Apparently.
What I've been playing Halo Infinite, but I feel like we're probably gonna talk about that up front. Mike, I need you to ask me a bunch of questions because I didn't
Halo
get
Infinito.
I didn't get into a lot of specifics during my video, and I figured we'd just do that here.
That's fine. I didn't even get to watch your video yet, so
Yeah, it's just
I watched
like
that video. That was
kind
pretty
of
good.
a generalized thing. I'm like, yeah.
we
Looks fun.
got some super chats like 24 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
enough grappling hook though.
What was I gonna say?
You turn on your
Jambo
video
they use
for
the
me.
grappling hook all the time.
It's on. No, it's not on. I thought I turned it on. No, it's just not working.
Ooh, even better.
What the hell?
Twitter.com. Sweet that we are going live.
All right, let me see why this isn't working. Razor Kia. Camera isn't currently. No. I know it's supposed to be used by another application, but it's not. What the hell?
Oh, Outriders.
Settings. Switch to video. Test video.
Oh my god, this annoying ass fucking Twitter Spaces, whatever the fuck they're called. I hate it so much.
Yeah, I don't like I always like want to join them every once in a while, but I only ever want to do it when I'm sitting on the toilet, and then I'm afraid they're gonna invite me on to like speak because I like have a check mark by my name or something, and then I'll have to be like talking to them while I'm taking a poop, and poop's coming on my butt, so I never join.
All right.
Listen, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying this is a legitimate fear.
You're disgusting.
This is a legitimate fear.
I don't know. I was going to restart my computer. I have no idea when my camera's not working.
Okay, yeah.
So, hold on a second.
All right, so Mike's gone. We can talk more about poop.
Poop. Have you ever fought it so hard you poop a little bit?
I mean, I'm an old man at this point, so yeah, I can admit that. Yeah, you know, there's been some shards in my life. Mike really does not like this kind of talk. Actually,
I changed the thing. Sorry.
I'll just.
Nick.
I pause podcast when I'm using the bathroom. I'll put it that way. When I know that, like, especially when I know the person on the podcast, because I'm just like, they don't need to be even this tangentially involved in what I'm doing here, in the vile stuff I'm doing here.
It's private.
Yeah, this is private. This is I don't want them to, you know, like, of course, like, it's a podcast. They're not really there, and yet I'm like, I still feel like I should pause it to spare them. Oh man, what a stupid show we do here. We're gonna for people filing in, we're gonna get started here in a second. Mike's restarting his camera. We'll start with the Halo Infinite chat up top. So yeah, you don't have to wait too long for that. If you have questions, you can put them in chat. Mike will probably be asking a lot. The best way to make sure that we definitely answer it is to send a super chat. We just get a lot of questions otherwise, and it's just too much. But you know, if you want to like say, hey, Mike, maybe think about asking him about this, you could try that. Let's see what he does. Mike's going to be in charge of that. Oh man, it's a good game though. I will say, like, it seems like a pretty solid game. I think the foundation is really strong. It is clearly the right direction for where Halo should be headed.
So 3 out of 5.
So 3 out of 5, right? I mean, it's all going to depend. Like right now, I like it. It all depends on how well it maintains this momentum throughout. I've not been able to play as much of it as I would like. So
if you had to review it right now, what would you give it?
Can you say that?
I don't think I can say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can say that.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm trying to get you in trouble again.
Yeah.
We're trying the endless quest to get this guy into another jail.
Yeah, we're taking him to jail.
All right. Are you trying to get him into Rockstar jail?
Oh, Killzone 2 remake. Let's go. Man, I want Killzone. I want another Killzone.
What are you talking about?
Hey, there's Mike. All right.
Yeah, I'm back.
Mike, what do you think about Killzone 2? The best multiplayer shooter in PlayStation's history.
The hell?
Oh, that might be true, I guess. In PlayStation's history, sure.
I narrowed it at the end so you could like agree with me a little bit.
Sure.
Don't forget about Mag.
I guess it's better than
Mag,
yeah.
massive,
in this podcast, we
game.
respect Mag.
256 players.
Really?
Hell yeah. You only see like 5 at a
Love
time,
and
man.
respect it.
You know they're there.
All right, let me hire me, as Mike would say.
Yes, please, because
They need to do a 256 player game again.
Why nobody did the Killzone 2 like in the middle of the run change like objective?
So-
That shit was so cool. I love that shit.
So now that the Kyle Rittenhouse trial has received a verdict, I wonder if this is when freaking Kotick's going to step
He walk
down.
away.
God, I don't know. I mean,
Here's his chance to
Bro,
bury
your
him.
country's fucked up. I don't
Yeah.
see that. This motherfucker moved two whole states just to shoot people. That's
yeah,
weird.
I know. It's very.
That defies every common sense.
I mean, he shot the right people according to the government. Is what just happened. It's
Dude, fuck.
infuriating.
Well, I wasn't trying to actually talk about it, Christian, and bring everything down. Thanks.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was making
live
a
in the
joke
fucked up
about Bobby
country.
Kotick. No, you're not forgiven. In fact, get out. We're getting started. You
Yeah,
two,
we're getting
out.
started. Thanks, guys. Get your moderator home.
I want to keep talking, brother.
I see
Okay, have a good podcast.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. All right. Okay. Let's see. Let's do some last minute checks here. Let's do this. They can hear that. Can you hear that?
Oh,
All
apparently
right.
my game I've been playing is Auld Lang Syne. Funny. You're funny. I wish it was. I'm shocked you maybe spelled it right. I'll tell you that much.
Wow. What does that mean?
It means that you
I'm generally very,
a
very,
slob.
yeah, very
You're
stupid
a
and
slob, man.
sloppy, and yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's. We were playing Super Mario Strikers. Okay,
Yeah. All right.
let's. No, that's the game I beat you really bad in, so that's the one I want to talk about. Okay,
We're going to start with you talking about Halo. We're not going to wait to the very end.
That's right. We're gonna do it here from the top. Like I'll ask you how it's going. You just tell me how you're doing, and then you say. But what I really want to know about, Jeff.
Okay, I don't need you feeding me lines. Jeff.
Listen, we did this in rehearsal. The writers, the writers,
Yeah.
explained this very clearly to you. We have a huge team of,
It's like
huge staff of writers. Everybody.
On Dogs, when we started, then you panic and stopped when you started music. Oh, Mike, I didn't tell you how this works. So when the music starts fading out, that's when you start talking.
Listen,
I was just like,
the week before
okay.
you forgot to say, and we are the Tin Dogs. So
that
what
was
can I have to
clear.
really put you in like a Nerf padded room to make sure you never
Wow.
hurt yourself. All right, you know what? This is
tweeted that we're going live.
yeah, this is the energy we need to start with. So let's just go. I tweeted. Okay.
Oh, gosh, it's so hard to tweet when I have this microphone in front of me. Jeff, about
Into our joke.
Halo's campaign.
Okay, let's see.
Open up your eyes and let the light shine through. GameCube, Nintendo bless us.
I was listening to that song
GameCube,
multiple times
makes us
last night
think
because you
bless-
tweeted
oh,
it.
That song's great.
All right, let's do this. I'm gonna do a countdown. I'm gonna hit record. I'm gonna press the intro button, which
Are you
does the
wearing
music.
glasses?
Because it's time to do this, Mike.
No.
Why aren't you wearing sunglasses? That's what I want to know.
I've
You
never
don't seem
worn
prepared.
sunglasses. I don't believe in sunglasses.
Oh my god. Listen, you know what? You might be onto something. It was super bright one time when I was traveling, and it was in Amsterdam, and I went out with my sunglasses, and I was the only person wearing sunglasses the entire day that I saw. I'm like, I think they just don't do sunglasses here. Like I think
It's a
they
scam.
Yeah, I think it might just be a thing. Like I think
you'll start wearing them because they're cool, and now your eyes can't handle any sort of color or brightness in the world, and so now you have to wear them constantly. I've just never worn them, never needed to.
And really, that describes me perfectly because I can't handle color and brightness. So I think,
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, no, that's why you love. Gosh, if this was 2006, there'd be a joke about some new game that's all brown.
yeah, Mad World, right? Yeah.
We've introduced colors. No, but Mad World was artistically black and white, Jeff. That's quite different.
I don't know what you're trying to say. Then I'm sorry that I've lost the thread of your analogy.
Remember the late 2000s? Everyone complained that all the games were brown.
All the games were brown. Okay, yes. All right, fair enough. Then yes.
Let's
yes.
start the show before I get more mad at you.
Yeah,
if
fair
it's
enough.
possible.
Yeah, we want to make sure that's all recorded for posterity. Okay, everybody, I'm gonna do the countdown. Here we go. 5, 4, 3. It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the GamesBeat Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything happening in the world of video games so you never have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeff Grubb. With me is
Mike Minotti.
Today's episode, we have news, we've got games, some small housekeeping. GameCube is 20 years old, and Mike played a bunch of games on his Twitch channel last night, which we can probably maybe record some of that stuff, but you can still catch the VOD of that on his Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Tolkoto. I played some games with him during that thing. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for joining us. We're going to get into Halo Infinite here real quick. Let's just get these credits out of the way. You can get more from Mike and me at GamesBeat.com. If you have something to share with us, email the podcast at GamesPlusPodcast@VentureBeat.com or hit us on Twitter at GamesBeat. Thank you to Carlos Ain, who is Insane in the Rain Music on YouTube for the use of our theme song. If you are listening to this on the website player widget, you can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. If you're watching on YouTube, though, hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button. That really helps people find the show. I really appreciate it. And if you like the show, otherwise you could rate us on Apple Podcasts. That also helps people find it. Join the Discord. The link is in the description. Discord.gg/GameMess. Thank you to our mods, who you can normally hear in the pre-show, really just riling Mike up, just really getting him going.
They always are just saying things and talking over me, trying to tell Jeff what I need to know to get the show started. Then I get mad and kick them out. And then
it's a great. You don't want to miss out on that.
Yeah. Up for it, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, he's so benevolent. Everybody.
Well, Chris just linked to my Twitch, so I'm okay with him at least.
Right. Okay. Yeah. What has he done for you lately? Yes, exactly.
Favor.
And then if you want to get into the secret channels inside the Discord, if you want to support what we do on these podcasts on the Game Mess Podcast Network, you can go to patreon.com/GameMess, and that'll get you into those private channels inside the Discord. So you can go to become a podcast producer and tell us what to do there. Mike, how are you doing?
Oh, gosh, I'm good. It's been quite a week. There's not a 0% chance that Bobby Kotick just steps down during this show.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if it's likely, but it's not a 0% chance.
Yes, it does feel like that is. It doesn't feel inevitable, but it feels like it's moving in that direction. And if you are everyone else at that company, it's kind of has to be the thing that you want so you can move past this. We have some questions about that we'll get to after the news. We have
the only other thing I want to say about it right now is how crazy is it that that all started right before we did Nintendogs on Tuesday. It feels like this has been going on forever.
Yes,
it's been 4 days.
Yeah,
crazy.
And, of course, the story itself has been longer than that, but like right now, like the build up at this moment, it feels like it's been going on a lot longer.
Yeah, it might even be a little bit later in the day too, like 5 p.m.
Take out the trash. Friday, right? Yep, it's Fridays when we record these, and I mean, if it doesn't happen today, do you think it happens?
That's interesting. I mean, gosh, again, so much stuff happened in these 3 or 4 days, right? There could still be just more. Like pressure could keep mounting. Like some of the biggest cards have been played though. Like Sony and Microsoft have just straight up said what's going on, practically publicly. Like they sent giant internal emails to a point that they knew everyone else was going to find out, and then they released less to some public statements. At least Microsoft did, but still, that's pretty big. But there's 1,000 people who signed a petition. If it doesn't happen today, there's probably going to need some more actual organizing and so on going on, right?
Right. Yeah. Some more leverage, used against him, something like that. We'll have to see.
We'll see. But Jeff, I really want to know about your adventures in Halo. I had no idea you were even playing Halo Infinite's campaign.
Yeah. So I guess we got emails. Hey, you guys want in this? And then I got a separate email apparently. I thought you all had the same email as me, where it was like, hey, you sign this thing and we'll get you into the review program, and we'll also give you a preview embargo for November 19th or whatever it is. I'm like, oh yeah, let's do it. And so I got the code. Well, I got the code. Basically what they do is they unlock it in the Xbox preview app, and so I was able to get it from that, and I loaded it up, got it started, and it's just the full game. And so basically, how you have that when you start the multiplayer, you see the campaign button right there. It's the same thing, just now the campaign works. And and it was I'm in it, and it's it's good, it's fun. I did a video on it. I didn't go into a lot of specifics. I figured we would do that now, but Mike, what do you want to know?
My big question is it just Far Cry Halo?
It is. I would. That's not how I would describe it. So in my video, I compared it to Breath of the Wild, but that's not necessarily what I don't mean. It like plays like Breath of the Wild. It still plays like Halo. And then if I were to like say like to pull one other game that it plays the most like actually plays like mechanically, it would be Metal Gear Solid 5. The Phantom Pain. Like in terms of it's an open world, and you're still like in that, like both the Breath of the Wild and Metal Gear Solid 5, you're doing the things that those franchises are known for. But Metal Gear Solid 5, it's a little bit more like do Metal Gear stuff, but in an open world, and you're you can get more creative. Halo is very much like do Halo stuff to take on these bases, to discuss, to when you come across like a super powerful enemy, figure out the best way to approach it. But you're going to be doing Halo stuff while doing that. And yeah, and also like the way that you progress through the world, like Breath of the Wild is you can go to the very end of the game at the beginning. I don't think that's what's going to happen here. I'm still pretty early, but you have to you're going to be clearing out pretty big chunks of the map, and then you're going to get in a war, like one of the flying things. I don't know what they're called, and they're going to fly you to the other part of the map, and then that's going to be another big chunk of open world, and that's kind of how it works here.
Okay. So that makes some sense. So you just mean like it's like Breath of the Wild in terms of the discoverability of it, feeling a bit more sandboxy than like the kind of formulaic hardline like go to all these map icons version of an Ubisoft formula of open world. Right.
So it's more about like you are going to be looking around the map, visually spotting something interesting, going to it. It's like Breath of the Wild in that way, but also it's like Breath of the Wild in that when they made Breath of the Wild, they were obviously looking to The Legend of Zelda 1, and they're like, hey, if we could make that game today, what would we do? And that's what they did with Breath of the Wild. This feels like they looked at Halo Combat Evolved, specifically the Silent Cartographer level, and were like, hey, if we were making that today, what would we make? And that's the game they made. That's really the key analogy that I was trying to bring out in my preview. And I think that's the right move, and I think they've I think they purposely are going in a direction that makes a ton of sense. This feels like the future of Halo. And I said in my video, and I said a bunch of times now, like it's a very strong foundation, and this is the right direction. And now it's just a matter of executing on that vision through the rest of the game, which I have not played yet. So, I'm waiting for my fixed Xbox to get here. The game keeps crashing on me, like a bunch of games are crashing on me because my Xbox is broken. But what they've done here so far is very promising. I'm really excited about it in a way that I just was not expecting.
I think me and you are both sometimes not super big story guys. How kind of prevalent is the story stuff here? Are you getting bombarded by cutscenes, bombarded by voiceovers, or is it, again, kind of like that Breath of the Wild thing, right? Where there really isn't all that much of it. It is kind of just about going through the world and doing Halo stuff.
Yeah, it actually leans much closer to Breath of the Wild again there, where it kind of just throws you in at the beginning and just gets started. There are cutscenes. There's a few of them, especially closer to the beginning, but it's not. It does not feel like there's a ton of them. It doesn't feel like they are trying to give you the entire backstory of what happened in Halo 4 or 5. That's not what this game is about. This game is much more about, here is a simple Master Chief story where he's facing off against this banished crew that is like, more evil than anyone you ever faced before, and they're on this Zeta Halo. Now go out there and find your own fun, and you're gonna some of the storytelling that's happened so far is I was on the map, kind of just I saw something cool on the map, I was headed toward it, and then on my way to that cool thing, in between here and there was a special outpost where the guy's like, hey, Master Chief is coming towards us. Like, he's speaking on a loudspeaker as I'm still playing the game, and he's like, everyone get ready. And then you see a ship fly over and bring in like reinforcements as you're getting closer, as they prepare for you coming in. And it's like that sort of emergent storytelling in the world. And it's like, okay, they're establishing like people, things are happening, things are moving, and things are responding to the way I'm playing it. But yeah, you'll still get segments where the main bad guy is going to do his soliloquy about why he's going to destroy you and why humanity is weak and all that stuff. It just, once you get past the first few levels, I haven't seen that again since. And I think that they might save that for when you get through what are basically like the big dungeons at the end of these segments of open world. There's a thing called the Tower in the chapter 4 that I'm allowed to talk about. And this definitely looks and feels like a Zelda dungeon where you're going to go in and you need to clear it out, and there's going to be some puzzle elements in there along the way. And then it feels like once you get past that and maybe clear out a few other specific points on the map, you'll get back on the helicopter and it'll take you to another part of the map. And then in that time, you'll be talking to your pilot friend, and there'll be a cutscene then. There's not a lot in between that, though.
So you're talking about kind of like the helicopter takes you to these different parts. So is it really more like multiple mini kind of open worlds and not necessarily one?
I think so. I think so. Yeah. So again, I'm pretty early. I think that's how it's going to work. And the way the map looks like that. So there's like these giant chasms around the edge of the map that I'm on right now. And then there's more map beyond that. And I came from another chunk before I got to here. And the way I got here was like, this helicopter. But they're really big, sections of map. And they feel like open world maps in their own right. But, they're probably like closer to something like a PUBG map, like that's 16 kilometers by 16 kilometers or whatever it was, and not something that's like, the entire open world is open to you. Again, like you're not going to go directly to the end of the game here, like if you want to. You're gonna have to like progress through these levels essentially.
Yeah, not to look like past Infinite, but like at some point there is going to be that Halo game where it's just like the full ring is explorable, and you're going to be able to like fly from like the top to the bottom, so to speak.
I agree. Yeah, it seems like the path for this. I agree. Yeah,
and I feel like it's actually almost a good thing to do this first and almost kind of leave that card open for them, because that's going to be a big wow thing. What's progression like? Are there like skill trees and stuff like that, or is it just more like traditional Halo? It's just the weapons you get, and you can carry two at a time, and sometimes you'll find a better one, and sometimes you won't. Sometimes you'll find like like one of those like grappling hook things. But is it like that, or is there like more RPG style progression?
I will say that the progression is simple yet very satisfying, and it feels like a Metroidvania like in that way, where you're going to be like. One of the first things I got was that grapple shot, and you always have that in the campaign once you get it. And now you can get upgrades to the point where I got the second level of that, where now when I grapple onto an enemy, it electrocutes them a little bit, so they're stunned. So when I go in there and hit them with my weapon, it gives me like a larger window to do that, and it does a little bit more damage. The other thing I'm upgrading right now is my like personal shield, and then there's 3 other slots on this menu of things to like the basic items to get, and then each of those have 5 slots to upgrade, and that seems to be pretty much the extent of it, at least as far as I could tell. And you get that, like, basically you find Spartans laying around the map, and you could take their Spartan points or whatever. A lot of times they'll have the actual item themselves, but yeah, you can see these Spartan points on the map. You go get them, whatever you have to do to get them, and you just spend those to improve your items. And I've enjoyed that so far. It seems. They're not trying to overwhelm you with skill trees. They're not trying to overwhelm you with stuff like crafting or cooking. That stuff's not even in this game. Okay. It's trying to be Halo-esque Halo, but extrapolated to like what that original like silent cartographer level could have been with today's technology. And it feels very successful at trying to do that.
Help me out here. I know the silent cartographer level gets brought up a lot, but like, which one was that again? As somebody who's not a Halo super fan, I know it's like, isn't it? I thought it was almost more infamous than famous. Wasn't the one that was like really long? And that's
the library I think you're thinking of.
That's okay. I'm mixing up with the library then. Which one's the silent cartographer?
So the silent cartographer is something like you go. Basically, you're storming an outpost with a bunch of other soldiers, AI soldiers, and it's very bombastic and cool, and it feels a little bit more open. You're on a beach and stuff. Okay. And it's like, I think when you like saw early screenshots of Halo, and it looked kind of more open than what you originally thought, or what it ended up being. A lot of that stuff came from the silent cartographer. And so that stuff, like, there's a lot of like one-to-one comparisons here where in that tower, the dungeon area, you can rescue some soldiers right outside of there, and then they join you and they'll help you storm the thing. And it just feels like, okay, yeah, it feels like you're part of this fight in a more expanded way. It's really solid. Okay. But, yeah.
My whole problem was that I was mixing it up with the library, and people kept making this comparison. And I was like, I thought people didn't like that level.
No,
so it turns out I was just stupid and confused. Kind of like you when you tried to return the enemy flag to their base.
Here we go. For people who are unaware, we played a bunch of Halo multiplayer this week, and we were playing Capture the Flag, and they dropped off the enemy's flag at our base, and then when I spawned, I picked it up and started running it the other way.
was
I'm a
great. I
very
have the
smart
clip.
boy.
You need to see it. You need
He
to
does
see
have
it.
the
It was
he does
good
have the
stuff.
clip on his Twitch page.
I clipped it.
I need your
I was
password when you get a
almost
chance,
afraid
Mike.
to
I gotta
share
just
it.
take care of some stuff. Yeah.
I was almost afraid to share it because I assumed that people were going to somehow turn into another game journalist or buy a video game scandal.
No, it's just Jeff Grubb. It's just Jeff Grubb. Yes.
People have been good. Like specifically said afterward, like, please don't do that. This is
Yeah.
clearly just me like ribbing a friend. Everyone be cool.
I don't know about this new strat, Jeff. Yeah, fair enough, chat.
So look, we've been enjoying the multiplayer a lot. I'm shocked how much I like it. It's the most I've enjoyed Halo multiplayer ever. I can say pretty confidently. And again, I was never a giant Halo guy, but this is really clicking with me. Everybody seems to have really positive things to say about this campaign so far. Like, Jeff, what's going on here? Is Halo Infinite actually fantastic?
Yeah, so I think that is the big question that I have right now, where, like I've said, the foundation is strong and there's no denying that. There's no denying that what they are doing here is the right direction. Now, to make a fantastic game, right? To make a game that is going to be like one of the best games of the year, you need to consistently build on that through to the end and make sure that you continue delivering on that fun and change things up and so. And I feel that, to me, there's a chance. And again, I've only played through what I was allowed to in the embargo because my Xbox is so broken. So I'm just going to speak on what I hope and guessing here. I think there's a chance that they got this foundation and they're like, let's just shore that up, and then we'll kind of build on this through our 10-year plan or through Halo Infinite 2, whatever we do next, because we want to get this game out, and it took so much work. Like, let's just get this foundation out and kind of be happy with that. Maybe the rest of the game just keeps getting better, and if that's the case, this is undoubtedly going to be a fantastic game. Either way, I am happy with this direction, and I'm just kind of saying, hey, it's cool to like a Halo. Like, I was not expecting that, and it's cool to like a Halo, so I'm going to kind of just count that as a win. And even if it were to end up, like, in the middle of our scoring range or something like that, which I have no idea right now, I'm not speaking one way or the other. I'm just saying, if that were to happen, I would still consider that, like, a win for me, because I'm like, oh, it'd be cool to like this game coming out of it. And right now, I think there's a good chance that that's exactly what's going to happen, where I'm like, I really like this.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to try this campaign out for myself, and I'm gonna keep playing this multiplayer, which has been, again, surprisingly fun. We've been streaming, we've been playing with some friends and community members. It's been just a really good time there. Like, I almost wish I had played more of Halo 4 and 5 multiplayer so I can articulate why this feels so much better to me.
Yeah,
but it sure does. It sure does.
Yeah, it's also like the right time, right place sort of thing.
Yes.
Where,
well, gosh, absolutely. I mean, Call of Duty and Battlefield both seem to be kind of, I don't want to say missing, but they seem to be a little low, right? They seem to be a little cold this year. So Halo is absolutely in a position. Like, if Halo was a multi-platform game somehow, I would maybe almost feel like maybe Halo's just going to outsell Call of Duty this year. Now, that's not going to happen, and maybe it wouldn't have happened anyways. But still, it sure is interesting.
If anyone has any questions they want to ask, you can send a super chat. I'll try to get to it. And if there's anything like really pressing, I'll try to answer it as well about Halo. But Mike, we should get to the news. Does that sound good?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so let's start here with Bobby Kotick. His basically, it's the Bobby Kotick scandal, and it has exploded this week due to a Wall Street Journal report, basically detailing the things that he has done wrong that sound very much like the reasons J. Allen Brack was dismissed, right? He covered up, he stepped in to protect an abuser, an harasser at Call of Duty's Treyarch studio, Dan Bunting, who has since stepped down due to those reports. And then Bobby Kotick himself has even threatened to kill an assistant and in underling. And it puts in.
He was just joking. Jay didn't mean it. He was just caught up. Who among us doesn't threaten to have a subordinate murdered?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone does this. It's just the way of the business world. Yeah, they teach it in business school. This is it makes you wonder. Like, it doesn't make you wonder. You know what's happening here. They say stuff like, we have a zero tolerance policy going forward, and it's like, well, the zero tolerance policy feels like it's not being applied to the one person who feels like they could evade it, and
they're like, no, zero tolerance starting now.
Yeah, exactly. Right, and it's like, well, J. Allen Brack did that stuff in the past, right? So why? It undercuts all of the stuff they've done so far if Kotick continues to get away with this.
Well,
So
that was the interesting thing about the Wall Street Journal story was so much of this before kind of seemed to not shift the blame, but it was very Blizzard kind of heavy on the details, right? A lot of this put it back into like Activision proper in a way, talking about Treyarch and talking about Kotick himself. So, and I think that's why they're like suddenly he's feeling the burn. And I think before it was almost kind of part of the strategy. I think they leaned into the kind of Blizzard aspect of it, and all the people getting punished were Blizzard people, right? I'm not saying they didn't deserve to be punished. Of course they did, but it always seemed a little. It didn't seem like the whole story there, like, oh, this is just a Blizzard problem. Clearly it isn't.
Yep. As part of this story, we found out a little bit more about what happened with Jen O'Neill. Jen O'Neill, who was the one-time co-head of Blizzard alongside Mike Ibarra, she resigned like last week or something like that, maybe the week before. Well, one of the major reasons that she resigned is that she said that she does not believe that that Activision and Blizzard will ever prioritize employees over their profits. And she also said that she felt like she was tokenized, and she pointed to the fact that while she has equivalent or greater experience than Mike Ibarra, she was paid less than him and was denied on multiple occasions when she asked for co-equal pay with Mike Ibarra. And then they never offered that to her until she turned in her resignation letter and to try to get her to stop from leaving, but she had already committed at that point. That is wild to me, Mike. I'm still like, we learned about this on Tuesday, and still to this day, I'm just like that. I cannot believe they would do that.
I mean, because again, this was happening when all the workplace problems and issues and lawsuits were coming to light. Like, that's why they put these two in charge. How did they not just immediately make sure that they pay these two an equal amount, right?
It's just
how could they not realize that would be like, first off, it's the right thing to do, and just like for many reasons, but also like the optics of it. Like, come on.
Like, even beyond, like, okay, we all know it's the right thing to do. She probably even deserves more money than Mike Ibarra after running Vicarious Visions for so long. Whatever. Like, it's the cost of being evil. Like, even if like you're trying to cover your tracks, like you just pay her the same so you can continue being evil in other ways. That's why you're tokenizing her.
It's like they can't help it. It's like they just can't help it.
I think it's like, yeah, right. They can't help themselves, and it's bizarre. In response to all of this, 1,200 Activision, Blizzard, and King employees have signed basically a letter demanding the resignation of Bobby Kotick. They want him gone. This is a pretty strong language. ABK, the short term for Activision Blizzard King, has about 8,000 employees. Still 1,200. That's a significant portion, and it's growing pretty fast. So people are spreading it around, trying to get more people to sign. But just because people don't sign doesn't mean they support Bobby Kotick, which is not the way to read that. Speaking of people not supporting Bobby Kotick, though, that leads to Jim Ryan and Phil Spencer. Jim Ryan, the head of PlayStation, Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, both in internal letters to their employees say, "Hey, we're not cool with this. We understand your concerns. We're thinking about what this means for us in our relationship." And Phil Spencer even said, evaluating all aspects of our relationship with Activision Blizzard. Now, PlayStation has a co-marketing deal with Call of Duty, and this is something I talked about in Grub Snacks, where Phil Spencer probably has to say this because there's people, Jim Ryan has to say this because there's people working on deals to give more money to Bobby Kotick, and they're probably pretty uncomfortable with that. So I personally, Mike, don't think this is going to lead to what some people are saying, like, oh, they're going to pull Activision's games because of this. That seems legally nebulous, but what do you think?
Yeah, people ask me that. No, I don't think that's going to happen. One, because of what you said, but also I think at the end of the day, PlayStation doesn't want to pull down the best-selling game on their platform, right? Which is going to be Call of Duty, right? Especially because they don't have Halo. Like, their best-selling game this holiday season is going to be Call of Duty. They're not going to pull it to take some kind of moral stand. They just aren't.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's opening up a bit like a Pandora's box for them if they start doing that.
Plus,
now
they don't have to. There's other things they can do.
Right, exactly. Yes, and yeah, it shouldn't come down to having to fight with money. It should be like, this is the right thing to do, and that should be enough. And if they put pressure on them publicly, that probably would be enough. That would be the kind of thing that could move the needle for investors and stuff like that. I think so. We were talking before we talked about Halo. Like, what do we think is going to happen next? Do we think he's going to resign by the end of today? I will say that I think he's going to keep fighting personally. But there's a chance. You said there's a non-zero chance that it happens today. I think that's probably also right. It's probably somewhere in that like 5 to 15% chance is where I'm at right now. But yeah, I mean, I don't see how they can go forward with him. I just like, if a year from now we're still talking about Bobby Kotick's Activision Blizzard King, that like
bizarre.
It's bizarre, and it's like, who's going to want to like take that job to go work for him, and who's going to want to cover his stuff? Like at this point, I feel worse about covering Activision stuff than I've ever felt before, and I'm just like probably not going to play their games, period, until this gets solved. So I'm not asking other people to boycott. It's just like, those are my feelings, and that's how I'm going to approach it. But I don't know. What are you thinking?
If this doesn't happen today, like the next chance could be, again, unless there's like another big, out of nowhere Wall Street Journal story like this one. But there's the next earnings report, and I think there's at some point investors do get to vote on like the board and stuff like that, right? And they could do a vote of no confidence, that kind of thing. I remember when that happened to Michael Eisner, because that was like the other industry I ever followed was Disney. Remember when that happened to him, and that was the beginning of the end. So that could be something. But again, like the investors have so far have mostly been pretty tolerable of everything that's been going on, and have been mostly patient about it. Now the thing is, they might be vulnerable in this next earnings report because Call of Duty could be coming in soft, right? On top of everything else, and they don't have any other games really. They have King, which is like reliable, but they're doing the same thing. The Blizzard side is also getting very cold now. World of Warcraft is deep into an unpopular expansion. Burning Crusade has now kind of already happened. Its age is getting shown. I tell you what, we'll be getting Wrath of the Lich King Classic about as soon as they can. There, Overwatch 2, Diablo 4, not happening anytime next year. Who knows when that's happening? So it seems like they still are going to be vulnerable for a while here. So sometime within the next 6 months, almost until June. Apparently, Dangerman's saying that's when the next vote of no confidence can happen. Okay, is in June. He thinks. He said so. I won't hold him to that. So that sounds right. Now, I bet Bobby Kotick's thinking, if I could just hold out until Modern Warfare 2 comes out next year, right? Maybe that's what he's hoping for. I don't know, but man, it seems nuts to me. And a lot of people are asking, how can the board still support him? Because they've come out and supported him. Part of me is like, I bet Bobby Kotick wrote that letter of support him anyways. He already wrote the one that he attributed to the torture apologists, right? So whatever there. But, they all probably have some loyalty to him. And they also are probably all think, and it's true that their stock will go down even lower if they get rid of Kotick, which sure it will, but it's going down anyways right now. And maybe it'll rebound faster once you get rid of him. So it's complicated. It's weird. It's awful. I mean, look, no one ever liked Kotick anyways, right? So, and like that's part of why he's so vulnerable. Like, a lot of people, they didn't need much of an excuse to want him out. And here, this isn't even an excuse. This is just very rightful. This is just very good reasons to get rid of him. So if he feels sorry for himself, or he's upset that he doesn't have many advocates, he sure does no one to blame but himself.
That seems right. I do think that it's the right move from a business standpoint. If you are an investor in Activision Blizzard, you look at what the future holds for that company, and you're going to need high morale to turn around so much of that company. Mostly Blizzard, but even Call of Duty, where if Call of Duty right now is at a low point. And sure, Warzone is going to be fine, and Call of Duty Mobile seems like it's going to be fine. Although there's that Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale, so it might be in trouble now. But you need talent to come in and work at these studios, and that it just seems like if you prioritize Kotick over that, you're going to be paying that price as an investor in 2-3 years without a doubt. So. Good. I mean, good luck if you're going to try to hold out with this guy. I think I think you're making the wrong move business wise, and I think you're making an unjustifiable immoral choice as well. Okay.
Next.
Call of Duty Vanguard was the worst Call of Duty launch in the UK in 14 years. So kind of
worse than Ghost.
Yeah, worse than Ghost apparently. So I guess the Call of Duty numbers or the UK numbers usually are maybe physical only, so maybe it's just those that are physical sales, and Ghost actually sold worse once you count digital or something like that. But still, this is a low point for Call of Duty. It's just nothing was really going that game's way. It's not exciting because of World War II. It's also not a very good Call of Duty. Things will definitely bounce back with Modern Warfare 2, unless there's like development issues because they can't get talent. But we'll see.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right now it seems to be just absolutely no buzz, nobody talking about it. And usually, like, there's a bit of that with Call of Duty, right? Because it's just, that has such a not a different audience, but such a super mainstream audience, and in a lot of ways, like, it's like our kind of audience just doesn't care, right? But still, there's usually some people playing it among like the people I know and talking about it, and there's just none of that happening right now. Part of the problem is so many people just play Warzone now, right? Like, more people seem much more excited about the new Warzone map than they did for actual Vanguard, and I wonder if like, in a sense, they're maybe double thinking that whole strategy of making those two things separate entities. I
think it's the right choice, probably.
It is the right choice, yeah.
Because like Halo is free to play. The Halo multiplayer is free to play, right? And that's the right choice for that. The way that game is doing. So, yeah. Real quick, I'm gonna read a super chat just because it's related to this. Just this is from Creaky Legs, who's a great community member. Just want to say, Bleep, Kyle Rittenhouse, and Bobby Kotick, love you guys and all of the Game Mess community. Take a deep breath and never lose hope. And I want to echo all that. Thank you. I appreciate that, Creaky Legs.
Also, thank you for all of the GIFs you make. I love those.
Yeah, even the GIFs. I like those. I like those even better. Yeah, and about like I know people are coming to this hot off of the what happened with the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Not to derail it, but I'll just say, keep your head up. This is America could be a really dark place, and I'm definitely feeling it. And if you're feeling it too, like there's no shame in just kind of being sad about what happened. And we're going to try to talk about video games here, but we're also not asking you to ignore like that darkness. Like, we have to deal with it, but if you know how to deal with it, let me know, because I do feel a little helpless when it comes to that. But thank you, Creek Legs, for your kind comment. Okay, let's keep going with the news. Rockstar apologizes for the Grand Theft Auto trilogy. This has been really just a bigger mess than I ever could have predicted it would have been. The game was off of the Rockstar launcher on PC for 3 days. It's finally back. And as part of bringing it back, they said, hey, we're going to re-release the original PC versions so you can get those. And if you bought the definitive edition, you'll get those versions for free. So at least through June 30th of next year. So they're also going to update it. They're going to try to improve this version. But it sounds at a certain point they might be washing their hands of this pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's already a step that I don't think Blizzard ever took with Warcraft 3, right? Because that was another time where, like, the new version just replaced the old one for some people. And everyone's like, oh, the new version's worse. Can we have the old one back, please? And they're like, no. So that's something. But man, that I still don't understand how that happens. They're kind of acting like, oh, these unforeseen problems. Like, how unforeseen could these things have been? Like, there just clearly wasn't enough Q&A done, or they just knew the problems and didn't really care, right? It's not like they were super caught off guard about these things. Right. I don't know. Like, it's nice that they came out apologized. They said they're going to fix it. I wonder how fixed it's ever going to be. But I mean, there is some kind of bullshit in that apology still to me.
Yes.
It stinks a little.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is wild to say, like, we didn't expect this stuff. You just didn't play your game? All right, fine.
Yeah, right.
Whatever. All right, some positive news here. Forza Horizon 5 is the biggest launch in Xbox history, crossing 10 million players. That game is bigger than I thought it would be. Like, that's, this is part of me thinking that I said on Twitter or last night around or maybe it was this morning, the Xbox strategy is working. When you look at something like Forza Horizon 5 hitting 10 million players, to me that says yes, this strategy is going to work even better once you get something like Starfield out there. That's just going to be so massive. Like, if Forza Horizon 5's at 10 million, what is Starfield going to do? It's kind of how I feel. And even like Halo's probably going to be massive now. Like Halo, free-to-play multiplayer is massive. It's gigantic. The thing has got set like records on Steam with, I think it topped out at like 276,000 concurrent players or something like that. It feels like they can keep growing on that, keep making it bigger and bigger, or at least like maintain a really high number of average users and really monetize that well.
What a surprisingly smooth launch for Halo. Also,
yeah, that's another thing.
I guess getting an extra year of development should do that, but but yeah, I mean, aside from the Battle Pass thing, like there's been no real like issues with like connecting to servers, even with like all the people like swarming it and stuff. Like I've had a couple like game crashes, but like
Same.
always
But
after matches
compared to what
anyways.
it could be, right? Compared to like
compared to what you almost expect
Yes.
for a big online game launch, pretty good.
And it's like it does it, it's the kind of thing where once it's going good, no one really talks about it, but it kind of deserves credit because I was just talking about how New World was having issues, and that's like one of the biggest server companies in the world with Amazon, so it's just going to happen to everybody. And then this game comes out and shows like it had millions of people playing. It must have. If Steam was at that number, there's probably like at least 1 million concurrent players, probably significantly more. And the servers held up on day one. I guess that's just Microsoft really committing to that game and making sure like, hey, this needs to work, but or if it does work, it'll be worth whatever it costs us. And that's just kind of incredible. All right. Some news out of Xbox this week because they had that 20th anniversary where they did shadow drop the Halo multiplayer. They dropped 76 new backwards compatible games, and they said this is the last batch. I think that if this is the end of the backwards compatible sort of initiative at Xbox, they mostly succeeded at their goal of making it feel like you can go back and play almost any game. Now, there's still some stuff left off, like NBA Street Volume 2 is the one that I keep thinking about. But overall, they did a pretty good job. How do you feel about the backward compatibility initiative?
I feel pretty good about it. I almost wish they didn't, like, I don't know why they have to be so definitive and say, like, this is it, right? Like, why do you have to close that door, right? Like, why not, if the opportunity comes up that you can, it doesn't even have to be a big drop, but you can add one or two. Yeah, apparently Jet Set Radio Future isn't one of them, so I don't know how that happened. Like, there's still some weird gaps here. And it's like, if it's done, then yeah, they did a pretty good job. But I am confused by the whole and by the way, we're done here. Like that's enough. We're shutting down that team. We're not thinking about it anymore. I'm mostly appreciative of the work that they did do because it was very good. But it is kind of a little off-putting that it's just like that's it. We're done.
Yep. I kind of wish they would give us more of the story there. Like, just tell us if you've had the conversations with all of these other studios and you're like, hey, it's going to cost too much money to try to get them to sit down at the table or whatever. Like, Sega wants to sell us Jet Set Radio Future again. So
that's like probably a music licensing. I bet there's a lot of those. And, like the Simpsons games, I'm sure that's a whole thing too.
Yep. But you're right. There feels like, maybe things could fall into place and like 1 or 2 more games might happen. Who knows? Maybe they could still go back on that and do that. But if the team is working on other stuff and just isn't there, then maybe not. 37 games got FPS boost, so and that includes many of the new ones added, but that also applies to a significant number of games that were already on the service. And yeah, that's cool. I mean, FPS boost is a great technology.
FPS boost is incredible. Like I was playing Mirror's Edge on my Series X, like when I got it, and I was disappointed because it's a 360 game and it just ran at 30 frames per second, and I was like, man, like that makes it look old and rough. And then as soon as I played it with this FPS boost, it just looks as good as anything, basically. Like except for like the lack of detail and like face, like arm and like fingers, whatever. Otherwise, it looks as good as anything. And I was just like playing it. I was just playing that for a while when I went to quote unquote test it. And like a lot of the Sonic games are on there now, a bunch of other stuff. I think Ridge Racer 6. So I never played that one. So I think I'm going to buy Ridge Racer 6 and see what that's like. I love the FPS boost. And they didn't say they're done with that specifically.
No, that's
so
going
maybe
to
we're
keep
getting
going.
more of those. Yeah,
yes, I expect that to keep going. Someone in chat was asking about that. And FPS boost will get applied to more games in the future. That's probably just going to take a little bit more time. They also teased the Halo TV series. I don't have much to say about that. I'm probably if I hear it's the best thing ever, I'll watch it. Otherwise, I'm just not going to make much time for it. But
I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a Halo TV series thing before, didn't we? Or like some
like
kind
a web series or something like that.
It looked real boring and stupid to me, but what do I know?
Yeah. And then they're making Game On, a 6-part documentary about Xbox. They showed some clips of this, and it looks really good, actually. It looks like it's going to go into all of the warts and all, Red Ring of Death and all that stuff. Yeah,
I was shocked. Like, we're going to talk about Red Ring of Death and some of these other problems. I was like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, that sounds like it'll actually be pretty fun.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they're proud of what they've accomplished now, and so they can look back on everything they've done wrong in the past and be like, hey, yeah, we survived that, and now look what we are.
I wonder how much they talk about, like, the all-in-one entertainment system and stuff like that.
Yeah, do they, like, is Don Matrick interviewed as part of this documentary? I think probably not, but if he is, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
All right, we have a delay season is continued. Oh wait, real quick, Phil Spencer when talking to Axios, talking to Steven Totillo over there, he said he wants to have the industry embrace legal emulation. And I was just wondering if you had any like initial thoughts on that, Mike. What do you think about what he meant there?
Gosh, what that can mean so many things. Really, legal emulation.
Because like think about it, like Nintendo does embrace legal emulation. That's what its Nintendo Switch Online stuff is, right? And that's all legal emulation. I think he might mean like a little bit broader in terms of, hey, let's enable emulation to exist in more places and let your games kind of continue to, like, if a person bought your game once, let it maybe live elsewhere. And he definitely has some self-interest there. They're done with backwards compatibility, so what would they do next there? Well, maybe they could start making emulators for other stuff and running that on the Xbox. But I think I think this is just about him saying, we've had a lot of success embracing emulation. We see this as a good thing for us and for people that love games, and we just want to make sure that we are keeping games around for posterity, and emulation is the best way to do that. We were just playing these GameCube games on Dolphin, right? So it's like that's absolutely the right path forward, I think. And so that's how I feel about it. Yeah.
Like, I hope maybe like what he means is like, all these, like, all these companies need to start investing in emulation. Like, Nintendo needs to have teams looking at making sure like they can do good GameCube emulation,
right,
or whatever they need to do.
Yeah, but build your own like fully documented emulator internally, so that as the hardware dies, like we just won't lose these games, and we won't lose like the nature of that hardware. So like super accurate hardware emulation would be great. Okay, then yes, delay season. Saints Row delayed to August 26th of 2022. That game was coming out in February, which just was never something I really jived in my mind. I'm like, man, already in February? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you glad this game's getting more time, or are you just still not sure about this one?
I don't want to say I don't care, but I can't evoke emotion about this. No, like, sure, whatever. It can come out whenever it wants. Maybe it'll be good, and maybe it won't be.
It's I'm kind of in the same exact way. And then Pragmata, that game that I when you asked about this during your stream, I explained it as it's the one with the girl in the box on the moon. And I think that's still mostly accurate. It's the Capcom game, and that looks kind of like a Kojima game. And they're saying it's still going to come out, and it's just coming out in 2023 now. It was originally going to come out next year. I don't know. I feel like this is one that could turn into Deep Down, and it just never comes out. But whatever. Who knows? And then there's a reverse delay with Sifu getting a 2-week bump from it's moving up 2 weeks to February 8th. I'm excited about that one. It seems like it's getting out of the way of some other big heavy hitters that month, so making the right move.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, everyone's complaining about February being a bit crowded. Well, at least now Saints Row moved on, I guess. Right,
Saints Row moved, and now you can play Sifu before Elden Ring comes out. When does Elden Ring come out? I think a little bit later that month. So yeah, that's a good move. I tell you what,
I would move as far away from Elden Ring as I could.
Yeah, and I think Elden Ring is a very specific audience, but I think Sifu might appeal to that audience a little bit. So this is probably a pretty smart move. I
think Elden Ring's going to have as broad an audience as one of those games has ever had.
I think that's true too. All right, some acquisitions here. Private Division, which is like the indie arm of Take-Two, is acquiring Roll7, which is the developer of the Ali games. Thunderful, which is the publisher of the SteamWorld games, acquired a studio called Early Morning Studio. Tencent made some minority stakes in Playtonic, the developer of what is it, Layla and Ashley? What is that game? Now the Banjo-Kazooie the spinoff.
Oh, Yooka-Laylee.
Yooka-Laylee, yes. And then Tencent also put a 20% investment into Marvelous Games, which I think is Marvelous Games. What do they do? I meant to look this up. I recognize the name, and I'm like, no, not Marvel Games, Marvelous. See here. Yeah, they do Story of Seasons. That's right. That's what it is.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, and then a few other news items here. Embracer plans to release 25 AAA games through 2026, and it plans to acquire 35 new studios in the next fiscal year. Mike, are there even 35 studios left to acquire?
Yeah. I tell you what, maybe we should start a studio, Jeff. We will get acquired.
Yeah, we'll make that real money.
34, and they'll be like, "Shit, we got them all." We'll be like, "Look, here we are."
We're a bargain, please. Yeah.
Arby's Sauce Studios.
Yeah. Give us Arby's gift cards, and we're yours. All right. Streamlabs is coming to Xbox via, I think it's coming to Xbox and PlayStation via web-based Twitch streaming. Basically, like you can stream your thing to Streamlabs and then put an overlay on it or something like that. I'm not actually sure how that stuff works, but it does work. It's like Lightstream, which is another service that just does the exact same thing. And that became a point of contention this week when it became obvious that Streamlabs, when announcing this stuff, just copied Lightstream's, not just the way the system works, but like the copy of their website and like the words on the website and how they marketed it. It was all exactly the same. And this brought to light a lot of other issues with Streamlabs, including Streamlabs OBS using the name OBS, even though the OBS open source project asked them not to. So Streamlabs has had to backpedal on a lot of this stuff. And Mike, you've stopped using Streamlabs OBS, right? Because you're a good boy.
No, you go. I asked everyone in our community, what do I use to stream? Because I don't know what I'm doing, and they're like Streamlabs. So then I got it. I spent all this time setting it up,
just like a couple weeks ago.
All this time, and now everyone's like, "Oh, that's evil, actually."
Oh, man, that's
great.
funny stuff.
So do I have to change? I learned this thing now. I'm not giving them any money.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Free.
Just don't give them money. Yeah. And if you ever once you get to a point where oh, I do want to give someone money to help with this, which
sure.
There's people that do a lot of those services for free. It's really easy to export that stuff and move it to a different service. So
everyone's like, just use regular OBS. Maybe, yeah, but it's gonna be slightly different now. See, everyone, look now. Or were you people before when I was asking? And I was like, what should I use?
Right here. I was right here.
To you,
yeah, I was the one saying not use Streamlabs, but whatever. Streamlabs does seem like it might be have taken a real dent here, where
well, they had to finally come out and be like, "Oh, we're sorry, we're changing our name, actually," because all that stuff.
But people are like, that's not good enough. There's a lot of other practices you do that are sort of shady. So I think that might be a story for a while. We'll keep on top of that. All right, Mike, that does it for the news. I think we should probably get to some of the questions, but let's start here with the super chats, if you would, because I think we got some questions maybe about Call of Duty, about Halo, a few other things, and I want to touch on all that stuff, and then I'll get to the questions from our community.
Probably not about Call of Duty.
Probably not. It doesn't seem too many people care too much about Call of Duty this year, so yeah.
No. Major Blazer says, I know I said this last time, but holy shit, Shin Megami Tensei 5 is so good. Also, do you guys have any ideas you'd like to see implemented and a new Mario Striker? So we'll maybe talk about this a bit more, Jeff. But when we were playing those GameCube games and we had a way to play them online with each other, we wanted to play some we haven't played before, and somehow both of us missed Mario Strikers, and man, did we have fun with that. Yeah.
I had emulated it a little bit before, but just a match or two by myself. Playing online with you using NetPlay, it was great. It felt like a great fighting game, just with soccer and stuff like that. It was a really good time. So they need to do another one of those. If they do another one of those, it just seems like basically just make that same game again, make it HD, add a bunch more characters.
Yeah, that's all I can say is add more. I want to see some more characters, obviously like Rosalina, maybe some weird. I'll tell you, if you got Mallow and Gino in there, holy shit, would I be happy?
This
Fawful in there.
Yes, Fawful. Oh my god, that would be fantastic. That would be really good. Let's do something like that, and then I think that's I wanted Punch Out from Next Level. I would still love if we got Punch Out, but I think the thing that makes the most sense is for them to do Strikers. So
why not?
Yeah.
Kung Fu Hot Dog says Jagged Jeff and Mighty Mike. I like that. That's like our 80s cartoon show where we're sewing action figures, the toys. That's like our name from that. Okay, I don't know how to say this word. I'm just gonna say it right now. Love your extrapolated overview of Halo Infinite video. Extrapolated? Is that
You got it.
Hey, we did it. If Bobby Kotick is fired, won't his replacement be just as bad? No guarantee what his success will be like. I mean, it might be. It might not be too, though. It's not. Right. It's not necessarily just about.
That's right.
What's going to happen next? It's about keeping people accountable. Right.
That's right.
It's setting them to the same standards as their employees.
And if the next person's just as bad, then they get kicked out too until you get someone that's better. And it would be better for the company if the board of directors brought in someone who was not Bobby Kotick and cared about the employees. Because if you don't care about your employees right now in this environment where talent is so hard to come by, you're going to lose out in those battles trying to get that talent. So it's just going to hurt them if they don't bring in someone better.
Isaac Spencer says, happy Friday. Hope you all have a great weekend. You too, Isaac. Thank you. Visualizer says, hi, all. I was tuned into the GamesBeat Decides podcast via Giant Bomb. Love both GamesBeat Decides and Nintendogs. Great vibes. Mike and Jeff, you are both awesome. Thank you. And Jeff, look. The strategy is working.
Yes.
You're converting those Giant Bomb fans.
That's
into
right. They'll all be ours in the end.
Fans. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Visualize. Okay, Jeff, I wanted to ask you about this because I just saw this before we started. Mr. Miracle asks, how legit is the World of Warcraft Complete Edition
I don't
for
know.
console?
Yeah, I heard about this too, but I don't know.
It seems so. Apparently, like there's like somehow people think this is happening at the Game Awards, and they found like a file name in Xbox or something like that. I have a lot of questions. World of Warcraft has a lot of problems right now, and I don't know if not being on consoles is one of them, or at least one of the big ones for it. Like, it would certainly... I mean, look, that's something people have asked about for a long time, so maybe it would cause some excitement. There are still a lot of things that would need to be changed for that. I don't... Like, what does WoW Complete Edition mean? When you buy the game, I think, like, I feel like
that's
almost
a good
any
point.
base version of the game comes with all the past expansions, and it's not like they can add... Like, maybe it just means, but you already get both classic and regular versions when you get a subscription. So I don't know. I'm not even sure how the monetization works in that anymore. So I don't know what complete edition even means. Like, World of Warcraft needs to be so worried about the next expansion right now, which needs to be like some kind of a revamp of some sort or another, that it seems weird to me that this is the time where they're worried about a console edition. Who's even making that?
Yeah, who would be doing that? Like, they're so busy with so many other things. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm with you where I'm pretty skeptical of this. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if this is just something that, like, hey, an executive said we had to do this, so we were making it happen.
Yeah.
But other than that, it does not feel like Blizzard's equipped to do this right at the moment.
Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised. Kung Fu Hot Dog asks Jeff. Oh, this is about Halo Infinite. Jeff, do we hear Marty's iconic score in the menu? So answer that one first.
Yeah. I think so. Yes, I think so. I'm like trying to, like, it's the same menu as the multiplayer one. So yeah. That's it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more into the Halo 3 theme, that dun dun dun, which they play a lot in the menus for the multiplayer and stuff. So that's good. Then he asks, are the Video Game Awards relevant anymore since Jeff Keighley was roasted for not acknowledging Forza Horizon 5? Do a poll. I mean, look, it's not like Jeff Keighley personally was like, fuck Forza Horizon 5, right? He just sets out the voting process thing. And like, we have to be a little careful here because we contribute to this. Like, we're judges. We help nominate people. So we can't talk too much about the process. But look, like timing is a thing here, and there are some games that are going to be hurt by timing. Now, if I was Jeff Keighley, I don't know why I'm so insistent on having the show in December and having all this weirdness.
Especially early December
games.
Yeah,
like big games like Halo or whatever not being eligible. I don't know why it's not just the cutoff is December 31st. It makes a lot of sense, and here's when you can nominate, and we'll do the award show in January, February, just like like the movie people do, right? Like, pretty much all those award shows for the year take place in the next year. So I don't know why the timing is the way it is, but that is the reason. There's just timing issues.
Yeah, and I mean, are they relevant anymore? Guys, these things are never relevant, unrelevant. It's all just sort of in our heads. Like, these things don't actually matter. We give them the power to have any value. If you don't like these Game Awards, there are a million other Game Awards that you could pay attention to instead.
I will say, like, by your criteria, though, yes, the Game Awards are relevant. They're clearly the most watched ones. They're clearly the most anticipated. They're the ones that us and you guys talk about, so they're definitely relevant.
Yes, if that's what, that's like, if you're talking about you personally, you could decide if it's not relevant to you. But in terms of like what people care about, it's obviously the thing. He's positioned it as the thing to care about.
Victor Marinez says, I don't even like FPS, but I'm addicted to Halo Infinite. I'm really hoping the campaign holds up and that co-op gives me a reason to replay. Yeah, that'll be fun too once the co-op comes out, which is later than when the game launches. Yeah, I tell you what, it's sitting for, like, I think me and my friends have been desperately trying to find a new shooter to play ever since, like, Overwatch became essentially dead, which we played that for years. I basically played Overwatch since it came out until about last year. So I was just playing a ton of that, and journeyed a little, like a bit of a journeyman, like played a little bit of Apex Legends, played a little bit of Warzone, nothing really super stuck. But I am really enjoying Infinite right now. I might be playing that one for a while.
You know, the key thing there is you can get everyone in your Discord playing basically, because those big team battles. So you can have like was it 12 people? Like we didn't max it out, and it felt like, oh, we got everyone's here. Everyone can just play. Like, and it's free to play, so everyone can get it. It's like, that's really cool.
And Overwatch is going in the opposite direction, where they're reducing the team size from 6 to 5.
Yeah, someone's gonna get left out. Yep.
I don't understand that one.
Yep.
All right.
Weird move.
Supernova says, Jeffrey Grubb, what do you think of the unfairness of Forza Horizon 5 from the Game of the Year nominations? Hashtag evil Jeff Keighley. Like, look, I don't know why I feel so much like I need to defend Jeff Keighley here, but Jeff Keighley does not have it out for Forza Horizon 5.
But I mean, like, the show exists to make money for Jeff Keighley and for the Game Awards, and to like be positioned best to announce games, and the awards are an afterthought. That's absolutely the truth. Like, and I don't think that's a big surprise to anybody. And so if the timing of the awards are unoptimized as to what they could be, well, at the end of the day, so what? Does the show make money? Does the show get big announcements? That's the stuff most people watching actually care about. Does it get big announcements? And if it does, if they're like most games, if a bunch of games they haven't played don't win something, oh well. I mean, that's just how it is.
I mean, look, don't cry for Forza Horizon 5. It's going to be just fine.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Kung Fu Hot Dog says, why do the Call of Duty games have short campaigns? Lazy ? I mean, I feel like the Call of Duty campaigns are just about as long as I want them to be.
Yeah, right. You want it to just be an action roller coaster. You get off and then go play the multiplayer. It's not lazy. It is probably what is right for what those games should be, especially what they are. You don't want it to drag on and on and on and just be like monotonous at that point. So,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, how long can you really get away with like a linear FPS campaign? Like, how long is Titanfall 2's campaign? Like 8 hours, 7 hours?
Like, you could probably, I mean, if you know what you're doing, you can get it through it in like 5 hours. Yeah.
Right? Like, how long does Half-Life 2 really take to beat when you play through it? I think it doesn't bother me too much.
Yep.
Phil Spencer's burner account says, hey, Jeff the Wise Grubb and Mike Oscar Isaac lookalike Minotti, can I threaten you both with a good time? Dune is incredible. Go see it if you haven't. I think this is the first and last time anyone's going to say that I look like Oscar Isaac, but thank you.
Someone else said it probably is the same person saying it, but they said that you look like it in your the icon picture that you used on Twitch. So when I tweet about like you on Twitch, that static image that comes up looks like us. And I saw it, and I'm like, they got a point. They have a point.
I actually saw Dune last weekend.
Yeah, I watched it too. I enjoyed it a lot, actually, but I would imagine, I thought most people wouldn't like what I saw. I'm like, this is kind of slow and it just ends. And I'm liking everything they're doing here. It looks incredible, but I would imagine most people are gonna be like, is that it? I don't know. How'd you feel about it?
Well, I mean, I knew about the whole because I saw it so kind of late after it came out. Like, I knew that it has like, you know, a sort of sudden ending, and that there's a part 2, so that didn't bother me. No, I liked it a lot. I thought it was very refreshing to see a quote unquote big blockbuster movie take itself very seriously and not do a lot of quips and humor and try to be half of a comedy. So that was nice. The only weird thing to me, so like I have 2 friends that I was texting a bunch, and they loved it, and they basically begged me to go. So I went with my brothers and 2 other friends. And it was like that weird thing where I was the only person who really liked it. So it was like that awkward thing where after the movie, it's like they just want to talk about the reasons they didn't like it. And I'm just kind of like sitting over there. And like the one friend even like started feeling bad and was like, oh, Mike, tell us why you did like the movie that we think is stupid and bad. I was like, oh, here's why I thought it was cool, you know? So, but yeah, but I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good. I'm excited for part 2. And I don't like very many movies anymore, honestly, but that one hit the spot for me. And I'm seeing Ghostbusters Afterlife tonight. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, fun. Tell me how that is. I'm excited about that.
I will say, like, the trailers before Dude, it was like Ghostbusters, Batman, Scream. And it was just like, man, even me was just like usually all about this nostalgia trips. Like, God, it's just nothing but reboots and sequels. Fossil 007 says, Jeff, have you checked the Hideki Kamiya interview and his apologies to fans of Microsoft? And Jeff, what does 10 million plays on Forza when Xbox Series X sold 8 million tell us? Well, that tells you a lot of people are playing it on Xbox One, PC, there's other platforms there.
I mean, it's telling you that the Xbox strategy is working. Like, they're not so much worried about where you're playing, but they just want you to play it. And to me, that's the biggest indicator that is the right strategy. If a game like that can just blow up and go everywhere, and everyone was like playing, even if like you don't have an Xbox Series X, which like to me, I thought the early success of Forza Horizon 5 was I spent $500 on my Xbox Series X. I want something to play on it that looks pretty, and I think that was a big part of it. But clearly, it is expanded beyond that, and so yeah, this is just them delivering on what they said that would work, and it's working. I don't think they're going to get to those 2 billion gamers they always talk about, but they are they're on their way at this point, it feels like, and that's enough.
Yeah. So what about the Hideki Kamiya interview? Did you read that?
I have not read it. I'll take a look at it and see what he said, and maybe we'll do a story about it actually.
I think that he talked about this is the Platinum Games game, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he talked about Scalebound and why that didn't work. That's right, because I interviewed him that at E3 about Scalebound. I remember now as well. It was weird that it didn't happen after that. All right, next one here. Brap, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast says, "Hey Jeff and Mike, we have to run some Halo multiplayer soon. Jeff isn't allowed near the flag." Absolutely.
All right, fair enough. That's fair. Hey, listen, we played that game again, that same map, Mike, offline.
You did much better. It's a shame no one
I
saw.
I think I captured it once, and I think I had the highest KD. And
Yeah, you were doing way better when no one was looking.
God damn it! I think I recorded that actually, so I need to post that to revive my number one games journalist claim.
There you go. Yeah, we'll play together soon. Don't worry.
Definitely, Brap. We'll be on this weekend, I'm sure.
God Rizla says new Pac-Man collection coming out, but no Pac-Man World in it. Makes me sad. That makes me sad. The Pac-Man World games are really cool.
Yes,
Pac-Man
I agree.
World 2, especially. Was Pac-Man World 2 ever added to the backwards compatibility list? 3 is okay too, but I think 2 is better.
What is that? I'm trying to think of what is they just announced this thing. I'm like trying to find it. Pac-Man Museum Plus includes 14 classics and a customizable arcade hub. It looks good. I actually like Pac-Man quite. I mean, I like Pac-Man Championship Edition like more than most games. But yeah, I love myself an arcade collection. So yeah, let's go for it. This is cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love Pac-Man. When Arcade 1-Up sent me a Miss Pac-Man machine thing, that makes me very happy to have that. I like just playing Miss Pac-Man. That is a fantastic game still. But yeah, I'll tell you what. Talk about collections. Those Namco collections, those museum collections, maybe for the original PlayStation with the actual walk-around museum. God, that is a vibe. I'm still chasing that one. That's good stuff. Brandon Bishop says, Jeffrey Grubb, you're my hero, and Mike ain't bad either. Well, all right, thank you. What do you think? What do you two think about the backlash with the Halo Infinite Battle Pass progression?
It's right. It's correct. Like that's just criticism. Honestly, it's not even backlash. It's just, hey, we play this game a lot, and it feels bad to like try to make this meta progression, and then you finish a match, and you're like, hey, I played well. And I spent some time doing this, and I don't get anything in this meta progression because of it. It's just a bad game design.
Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
No, I was honestly finishing up. You go ahead.
What baffles me about it is that when they announced that the progression was going to only be tied to challenges, everybody said that's a bad idea.
Right.
They articulated why it was a bad idea, and it all made sense. And then, like, we all played it, and then in practice, it was a bad idea. And then, like, they released the game still technically in a beta. The game's out. And they all seem a little shocked that it's like a big detriment. And good on them for like working to fix it now. But so like then the fix is still like, oh, you just get 50 XP after every match. But that's fine. But I still do want it to be a bit more about my performance and stuff like that. And I hate the challenges anyways, because like then will have people like running around with a pistol because like I need 3 more pistol kills to do my challenge. Like no, play the game.
And also as someone who has my brain, I tend to not go searching for those challenges. I kind of just want to play the game, and if I happen to do the thing, that's great. But I'm also assuming throughout that time that I'm getting XP for the things I'm doing. I'm like, I'm playing well. I don't want to have to go find out what I have to actually do to earn XP. I should just be earning it. Like that's the way I engage with this stuff, and it feels bad if it's like, actually no, that entire time you did a 5-hour session of Halo multiplayer and you didn't earn all that much because you didn't go and engage with like some menu somewhere. That's not gonna work for me.
Right. I even bought the battle pass, right? Because
Same.
like the premium version, because like I was having fun. And I was like, I want some of this. And I was like almost shocked, like, man, I'm not getting very much that I actually want to use or I find very interesting. Like, then like I scroll towards the end to see what you get. Like one of the last things is that incredibly obnoxious helmet that's just on fire, which apparently was in Halo Reach. And I'm just looking at that thing. I was like, oh my god! At some point when people unlock these and people are just running around with like their helmet on fire, I feel like particle effects should not be a part of the cosmetics. It's going to get ugly and disgusting pretty quick. It's going to start looking like, and I don't, not this isn't a dig at sport. It's going to look Fortnite and stuff like that, right?
Oh yeah,
it's going to start
inevitable,
looking free to play in a negative way, and people start running around and they have rainbow unicorn sparkles shooting out of their ass everywhere.
Well, I mean,
like,
that
I still
sounds
want it to
pretty cool.
look and feel like Halo, right?
You're right.
And it's hard because, like, you need people to buy cosmetics, and you can only have so many different colored versions of a helmet. I understand, but like, I don't want them to get overboard with this stuff. I still want it to be grounded.
It's going to be a tough line to walk. They're going to step over it a lot. I hope that you're right that they tend to err on the side of keeping it like Halo.
Yes. So we'll see. Jeff, that's it for the super chats for now.
Okay, we got a bunch of questions here from our community. Let's get right into them. Delta Prime 84, question for Mike. The X-Men equal money. The MCU also equals money. Where is an MCU X-Men movie? Does Disney hate money now? So this is a question for Mike because it's about Disney. So you're in charge of Disney, Mike. What's happening?
It'll come. I mean, I'm sure, So
it'll come.
The Fox still is relatively fresh-ish.
Yep.
So they have to reboot the X-Men, right? They basically have to redo all of that. The old X-Men stuff either ended properly, like with Wolverine, or got very bad and no one cares anymore, like with the X-Men Origins kind of storyline, right? Eventually, nobody cared for that anymore. Now we are getting the X-Men '97 cartoon show, which is probably better anyways, right?
And I think that's totally part of this. Like they're like, all right, let's get the people who watch the X-Men cartoon excited again, because they're kind of our core audience right now, and they could sort of get buzzing about the X-Men and make younger people care. Be like, hey, what is this cartoon? Why do you care so much about this? And then you take it from there and you build on top of that, and you're like, all right, and now here is the first new X-Men movie. So it's gonna come. Mike's right.
And that cartoon's there's a lot of opportunities there. The movies never really gave us a satisfying Gambit. We had one who showed up in like X-Men, and they were supposed to be like that Gambit standalone movie with the guy from 21 Jump Street that never happened. So there's opportunities. Also, they have to look at Eternals, which maybe is one of their core movies, right? Like not cool as in it's cool as like it's not hot. The opposite of hot, right? And I think one of the issues there is that they had to just introduce a team of heroes right away without having that buildup of telling us who all these people are. So maybe they're going to look at X-Men as an opportunity to do like a Wolverine movie first, and a Gambit movie first, and a Storm movie first.
That would probably be the right move. I guess,
right? Like, why not?
They shouldn't do that with Fantastic Four, but I think with the X-Men, you're probably right.
The X-Men you can. Fantastic Four, you wouldn't do that.
Yes. From Gigamir, is the Shadowrun IP currently owned by Microsoft? If this question is too complicated to answer, don't worry about it. So I don't know if it's like flat out owned by Microsoft. Microsoft has the rights to the video games. I think Topps is still involved in ownership of the overall rights, and that's what makes it complicated here. And that's why I think people are skeptical that it could be a Shadowrun game or that a Shadowrun game was in the works. But what I've heard is that the codename Vonnegut project is Shadowrun related. What does that mean long run? Does that mean that they're going to get the rights to make a new game? I think so. I think they've put the things in place to make that happen, but we'll see.
I have to remember to make you tell me the other things that you almost spoiled on.
Yes, I could do that for sure after the show. That'll be nice to tell someone. Yeah.
There you go.
From Kiji, I think you'll actually be interested in at least one of them. From Kiji, rumors Sony's at the helm of a new multiplayer Marvel game. Sources say it is in the vein of a DC Universe Online. Have you or Mike heard anything about this? Could Insomniac be the devs since they put up job listings for a new multiplayer title? Thanks and have a great day.
Man, I can't. You have to hire a lot of people to suddenly become an MMO studio. I don't know if Insomniac really wants to make an
MMO.
And
DC Universe Online is an MMO. That's why Mike's
saying a straight up MMO. So,
yes.
Like, if
Classic
you say in that vein,
MMO.
that could mean a lot of things. Like, maybe it's not going to be like a straight up like old school like hot bar MMO, but that's
maybe you're making your own character and going on quests or whatever with your friends or something like that.
But like that, yeah. But like we've had versions of that. the Avengers games kind of like that. There was that I can't remember what it's called now, but there's that Marvel game that was a bit like Diablo that was like that, and it did okay for a bit and then fell off the face of the planet. Man, I tell you what, that would not be what I would put people in charge of right now with everything going on. But I don't know, maybe it can work. It seems like a weird fit for Insomniac. Just let them keep making these incredibly good single player story driven Marvel games based on the iconic heroes. I don't know why you would mess around with MMOs with them.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Just talking about that makes me want to go play Spider-Man again.
Right.
From let's see, from Gigamir, could you remind me what the structure and purpose of Ripple Effect and Dice LA is in EA? I think Ripple Effect is Dice LA now. Are they separate studios? Yeah, so yeah, they Dice LA renamed to Ripple Effect. How far removed is their work on Battlefield Portal from the rest of Dice? Also, is Vince Zampella involved here just as much as he is at Respawn? So I wouldn't say necessarily just as much. Like, he built Respawn, but he oversees Ripple Effect, which was once Dice LA, in the same way he oversees Respawn, and like they want to like sort of have Ripple Effect work in Respawn's image, which means spending a lot of time prototyping, coming up with super solid gameplay mechanical ideas, getting that stuff into place, and then building the game from there. And so I think this is just about, so this is mostly just EA saying Vince Zampella's strategy works. Let's do that across the entire, like, the entire EA shooter business. How far removed is their work on Battlefield Portal from the rest of Dice? It's like a support. That's like that relationship is like any support studio, like their work, or like Raven and versus Treyarch or something like that. Like Raven working on the campaign while Treyarch makes the multiplayer or something like that. It's like that, and it's so separate, but not like they work together. So yeah. All right, from Blackheart Vinyl. 50 Cent Blood on the Sand is not available digitally, and the discs are crazy expensive. What do I do? That's a good question. I would like to look into this and see what is the best way to play 50 Cent Blood on the Sand.
Ask yourself, what would 50 Cent do?
That's a very good point. What would 50 Cent do? Now, don't ask what will 50 Cent do to you if you don't get money from you, because we know he'll chase you across the desert for his gold crystal skull or whatever it was.
But Diamond, yeah.
Diamond, whatever.
Man, I tell you what, I want to play that.
Me too.
Man.
I want to play that real bad, actually. So Jeff Gerstmann was just playing it on Giant Bomb not too long ago, and I'm like, man, I need to play that again. So I'll look into it. I'll see what I can do for you. From Eric, just to be a jerk and rub it in, reminder that I asked a couple of months ago what Xbox would do for their anniversary, and Mike said, I think that all they'll do is put out some nice tweets.
Okay, well, all right, fair enough.
Honestly, when Mike said that, I'm like, yeah, that sounds all right. That sounds about right.
Fair enough, I had that coming. They downplayed the anniversary because they even said, like, don't expect news. And, I mean, the backwards compatibility stuff was interesting already, but then they had like, oh, by the way, Halo multiplayer is out.
Yep. That was exciting. It did leak, but even with the leak, it was still exciting.
They actually did a very good job in general with all the 20th anniversary stuff there. They made me feel more nostalgic for that brand than I ever did. It made me feel better about that brand in general than I ever did. They even did some cool stuff. Like, they had that tweet. They had that really cool, like, 2x2 art thing with all four consoles from that generation: PlayStation 2, Xbox, Dreamcast, and GameCube. And I was like, man, I just want a print of that because that looks fantastic.
I mean, a lot of nostalgia for all those systems, and it's like that was a great way to present that stuff.
God.
From Benji Bop, Halo, Mike, what number generation do you think that is? Do you know off the top of your head? Because I do, only because people kept saying it and it was driving me crazy. You know, people
this?
You know how the people say, oh, the 6th generation or 5th generation.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking. I was thinking it because I wanted to say it to make you mad because I know you hate it, but I don't know.
Yeah, right. Because you're a real human being, someone who's been playing games their entire life, so you didn't think about it in terms of numbers when you were a kid. Like, you're just like the Xbox, PlayStation 2 generation.
Right, I just pick one of them, whichever one comes to my mind at the time, and I say the PlayStation 2 generation.
Yes.
People know what I'm talking. If the NES was the first generation, I can maybe keep up with it, but it's not. So, like, I don't even know if it's the second generation.
Right,
in terms
it's useless.
Of numbering.
It's useless. I hate it. People need to stop it.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Makes me mad. From Benji Bop, happy Halo Friday, Jeff. One Grubb and Mike. Jeff is a piece of shit. What? I was being facetious. Minotti. Sorry, I messed that up.
There you go.
And that the one there is. I thought the emblem that you got in Halo Infinite was your level.
Yeah, it's like, man, people were right to complain about the battle pass. I've been level 1 forever, and people are like, Jeff, that's your emblem.
Yep.
Now, you have a point. Why is your starting emblem just a 1? What the hell does that mean?
But also very stupid. Yes, because okay, here's
Oh,
the
your daughter would tell you that's not good, Dad.
yes,
You can't call
yeah.
that was very sweet.
that was incredible. Yeah. So here's the truth, though. While I was writing that, I think I was looking at your name with the helmet in front of your name instead of the one. I think I was looking right at it. It was like that was the screen. I was looking at my friends list. I'm looking at all these ones, and I'm like, and it just did not click in my brain that was an emblem that you could change. Yes, so that's the real truth there. Okay, let's get to Benji's question. Okay, let's make a couple of assumptions. First, let's say that Halo Infinite campaign is as fun as the multiplayer, and the story doesn't disappoint, and it ends up being one of the best games of the year. Now, let's also assume every big 2022 game doesn't delay and also doesn't disappoint. Does Halo even have a remote shot of being nominated for anything outside of Best Ongoing Game and maybe First-Person Shooter for next year's Game Awards? I think it would have a small chance, only because normally I would say no, but I think that the people like that are like so kind of furious about Forza Horizon might keep that rage going into next year and say, don't forget Halo. Don't forget Halo.
I think Halo has a good chance. For one thing, it's Halo. It's different than, say, Hitman, right?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, which wasn't even very good.
Yeah.
Right. So, excuse me. But also, people are going to be playing Halo all next year. People aren't going to forget about it.
Right. And it's going to be on Game Pass. So it's going to be very easy to, very accessible to so many people. So I think it has a better chance than any game before of kind of meeting that threshold. Another one from Benji. One of the main reasons people didn't believe the Halo rumor was because Xbox usually plays nice with partners and wouldn't want to step on Battlefield, and subsequently EA's toes. Could this have potential ramifications down the road, such as EA Play leaving Game Pass? Thanks as always, and have a great weekend.
I was curious about this, Jeff. What does EA think about that move?
I mean,
you can't be super happy about it.
I can't be super happy about it, but I bet here's what happened. Hey, everybody that are our partners, we're delaying Battlefield. And then Microsoft goes, oh, dog, just so you know, we might launch Halo multiplayer right then. Like, are you cool? And EA goes, we have to. We'll just have to accept it that this is how it's going to go. I almost forgot
Battlefield was supposed
Battlefield
to
was
come out
delayed.
in October.
Right. So this is that's on EA at that point, not on Microsoft, and I don't think it's going to have like real ramifications there. Now, still poor Battlefield. The result here is that's a $70 multiplayer only game going up against a free to play Halo and a free to play like new map for Call of Duty Warzone. Whatever happens with Vanguard, I mean. I think I said from the beginning that game should have been free to play. It was the wrong choice to release that game as a $70 game. But whatever, it's EA. They're going to have to learn these lessons the hard way. From Delta Prime 84, today we got more horrible news out of Activision Blizzard, and I'm about to uninstall the Battle.net launcher because it's basically the final straw for me. Is Activision even slightly hurting from the consumer outrage it's facing?
It's so hard to tell because there's other reasons for why its current products may not be doing well. Like with Call of Duty this year, it's just not a very good Call of Duty. It sounds like, or right? It's like it's very underwhelming. So like maybe if it doesn't do as well as the last ones, and it seems like there might be some factor there, but they'll definitely be able to say it's just because it's not as good. And then with Blizzard, same thing with World of Warcraft's problems, and then all their other games just aren't really released. I think like the only big thing they had was Diablo 2. It seems like it did fine there, but could it have done better? I don't know, maybe. So it's hard to say. In terms of all that stuff, boycotting, whatever. Everyone should kind of follow their conscience there. Do what you want to do. I don't think you need to feel bad if you still play the games. I think ultimately we need to kind of count on the government and the shareholders and even the employees seem to have more power than we do, really, in terms of making actual change happen there. And in terms of a boycott, like I wouldn't personally be like super hardline about that until I was hearing the actual employees talking about that, like hearing like if like that ABK collective thing or whatever was saying everyone needs to start boycotting the games, then maybe. But what I typically hear is they necessarily don't want that because then that can maybe just end up hurting some of the rank and file. Maybe not. I don't really understand how it all works, but generally,
it's tough to say.
I don't blame anybody who doesn't want to play their games right now because it just makes them feel bad. Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, I always say like we shouldn't have to vote with our wallets. We should have institutions in place to hold these things accountable before it gets to that point. But you still buy with your wallet, buy the things you want to buy. And if this stuff upsets you to the point where like you don't want to be engaging in that anymore, you shouldn't. I feel that way right now. I'm not gonna. I got a Call of Duty Vanguard code, and I barely even like for free, and I barely even want to touch that. So I'm just not. It's just sitting over there. I'm not gonna touch it. So.
New expansion on Tuesday when it came out, and it was just like, man, I'm just sorry, but I just really cannot.
Right. So, I think that's fine. And listen, and if a boycott does get called, and if that's part of like a union organization from the employees, like Mike was saying, I think it would be great to support that. From Nick Turbo, do you think Jim Ryan plays games? I do. I think he plays games.
Yeah. What do you think about Jim Ryan now, Jeff?
I never have I disliked him. I just think he's a fun punching bag because he's up, like punching up is fun, and he says a lot of silly stuff, and it's like a fun punching bag. That's all. But I'm glad he came out and said something. Now, in response to that, some people are like, "Hey, well, he didn't do a great job of dealing with stuff that happened at Insomniac or stuff that happened at Naughty Dog." So it's not like his record is spotless, but it does still sound like Sony might be a better place to work than Activision.
Sure,
so
yeah, there still are degrees to these things.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
I mean, look, it's industry-wide problems, absolutely
Yes.
everywhere, but still, like, there are definitely worse actors than others.
Isaac Spencer, I don't remember ever saying any such thing.
I remember what he said.
From Nick Turbo, when will we see Spider-Man come to PC? I bet it happens in 2022. I bet it comes next year, but I don't know. What do you think, Mike? You're still like, that one still feels weird?
That one still feels a little weird. I mean, look, they're very gung-ho about PC. There's a lot of talk there. You have to get your biggest game in the last generation on PC if you're really that sincere about it. So I think it does still happen next year, yeah.
Blackheart Vinyl, when do you think the decision was made to launch Halo multiplayer on the anniversary? They told us December 8th back at Gamescom. Did they know then, or was this more of a recent decision? Was it motivated by Call of Duty and Battlefield having relatively weak buzz?
I bet maybe after the earlier tests were going well, they probably started seriously considering it. Like, why not? Like, hey, this is ready. We know like the campaign probably needs all that development time. This can go pretty much.
I mean, it's almost exactly what happened, where like, hey, we're going to keep running these tests, and we have one scheduled for the 20th anniversary. Like, all right, that's pretty close. Like, should we just kind of launch it then? Like, let's just, instead of doing a test, just call it a beta and launch, like, and it's all part, like, this is something that I'm sure they were considering from the beginning, because this is marketing. It's a free-to-play side of the game. You want to get a lot of excitement going, and that excitement can lead into the campaign, get people into Game Pass, whatever, get a lot of people playing on their Xbox or within their Xbox accounts, so it's very easy to then convert to Game Pass. This was always like part of the plan, maybe, I think, but after those first tests went so well, and they're like, okay, we have that last test scheduled for then, let's just make that the soft launch and take it from there. That's how these things go.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't, for the Monday aspect of November 15th, I bet that was a date they maybe had pegged for just straight up releasing Halo Infinite, like, almost as soon as they delayed it the first time. I'm sure it was always part of the process, always in their minds.
From Poppy Woppy, who says, first time, short time, so asking a question and not even that long of a listener, we appreciate that. Were any games actually better with Kinect? I'm trying to think.
Remember the Halo Anniversary Collection? You could yell grenade or something.
Yeah, oh my God, yes. Turn it into Odama. I will say that the things that were better with Kinect for me were controlling media, especially when like in 2017 when my kid was just born, and it still worked with like, hey, Xbox pause that, like holding the kid and being like, Xbox pause that, or even saying like Cortana pause that or whatever it was. Like, I don't want to activate Cortana, but like. Yeah, that stuff worked really well for me. I really like that. Now you could do that through smart speakers that connect to Xbox, and so I'm fine with all those things. And it connects to my TVs too. I don't even do it through the Xbox anymore because watching TV through Xbox, I only watch like Netflix or whatever they're through there. But it's in terms of games, I can't think of anything.
Man, I was like trying to Google it, and like I just looked up Better Connect, and there's like this Mass Effect 3 trailer. It's just literally developers shouting at their TV, like, examine concussive shot. It's like that's all it ever was. Or like you use your hand to navigate a menu poorly.
Yes.
So, yeah. So yeah. The answer is nothing was better with Kinect.
I would like an oral history of people who had to develop the Kinect functionality for big AAA games.
Yes.
Like, just like, what was that like? Like, what support did you get from Microsoft? Why did you have to do this? Yeah, I just want to hear about it.
At some point, they had a ton of money invested in Kinect, and there had to be a pretty sad day when they just realized we have nowhere to go with this.
Yes. From Winnie featuring Rain on Your Parade, or Rain for Your Parade, sorry. Jeff often mentions that social media backlash and not boycott is a more effective way to send a message to a company. Yes. Thinking about the Game Awards and the Game of the Year list in particular, are these moments when we should weigh reputations? Let's try. I'm trying to parse what this means. Are these the moments when we should weigh reputations? All right. They go on that The Last of Us 2 won Best Direction when crunch is a clear indication of poor direction, stands out to Winnie. As problems in the industry continue to become more visible, do you think we will see more, or should we see more outlets just not including dumpster fire publishers such as Ubisoft or Activision from the awards, while still including them in coverage such as reviews? It is absolutely the job to cover the games and cover them on their merits, but should awarding them be different? So I get this. So should we be contributing to positive reputations for studios that might be treating employees poorly or something like that, or that we know had issues with when making their games? And I do think this is something you absolutely can weigh. I would not have voted Last of Us for Best Direction because of the crunch. Like that. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was delayed a bunch of times. Like, yeah, like it was a game that a lot of people liked. It's not for me, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how that happened. I mean, I think a lot of times people's best game direction list just looks a lot like their Game of the Year list, right?
Yes,
because like, what did we weren't at the studio. I don't know how well he directed things. Like, he didn't direct me. Yeah, right. I guess the game he made, maybe I liked it or not, but I don't know. Like, he did a very good job telling that person what to do.
Right. Yeah,
maybe like, get rid of that award. It seems kind of impossible.
Yeah, it feels like a really silly thing, especially in games, because games are so much more complicated than movies. Right. Like, we see what the direction might mean on screen, and we're watching a movie. Maybe if it's something you care about, but in games, like, there's so many choices being made by so many people on so many teams. It's just.
In movies, it almost kind of like becomes an extension of best like cinematography and stuff like that. Yeah. It's like the look of the movie almost somehow gets translated to best director. I think that happens in games, even though it makes way less sense. So because like Last of Us Part 2 is technically the best game and like maybe the best looking game that year, it's like, well, it was directed the best. Oh, okay, sure, if you say so.
All right, we got a bunch more questions. Let's get through them. From Benji Bop, welcome back to our yearly 1 week outrage over Game of the Year nominations from the Game Awards.
I thought it was a pretty good list this year too, and like, there was almost more.
But we knew Forza probably wouldn't make the cut, so we were expecting.
There was a friend of ours who was very upset, and they wrote an article even, and like I didn't want to reach out to him, and he was kind of like mad at the people who voted on it, and I didn't want to be the one to reach out to him and explain the situation, but someone else did, so he actually like had to update the article a bit. Yeah, but yeah, like people are mad, and like I get it, like it seems like bad. Forza Horizon was so well reviewed, but come on, that's a pretty good list.
Yes. Yeah, I think overall, like, I'm happy. I think my number 1 or number 2 game, Hitman 3, wasn't on there, and yet I still thought it was a really good list.
Right. Well, that one I always just knew. Like I would have been very pleasantly surprised if it was on there, but hey.
Mm-hmm. Benji Bop, welcome. Okay, no, yeah, let's say he has tinfoil hat time. Do you think there's any truth to the conspiracy theory that Jeff won't change certain aspects of the awards because the snubs garner just as much traction and attention to the show as the actual nominees? That is not why. You can tell he gets very frustrated by this. He just wants to. The reason for the show is to get viewers' attention, and that's not. He's not going to do that through snubs. He's going to do that through what he does best, and that is getting partnerships with companies to show big games, and that stuff works way better than the snubs. So, yeah, I don't think you need to have the tinfoil hat for this one. Let's see a second question here. I think one change that I feel everyone can agree on is why the Game Awards is limited to only 6 games. The Oscars has up to 10 movies that are eligible for Best Picture if they garner enough votes. If we had 10 games eligible, Hitman 3, Forza Horizon 5, Returnal, and Crucible Blast all could have been nominated, and we wouldn't have to deal with this outrage every year.
Okay, the question is being nominated itself an award then? Because the point is to just whittle things down, right? So I feel like if the point is to just get to the Game of the Year, then it doesn't matter if you have 6 or 10, right? Like the Game of the Year is somewhere in that 6.
A nomination is an award, though. People do consider it like award nominated film and award nominated game. That people take that as a badge of honor, and I don't think it would be bad if we had 10 games for the Game of the Year list. That would probably be a good solution here. But also,
people still get mad.
People still get. Yes, you're absolutely right. I think but I think it dials it down a little bit. But also, like I say, a solution to me, this isn't all that much of a problem. It just is what it is. And if you don't like it, watch another Game Awards show.
Like this was a pretty good year. I feel like we could have some cool years where the 10th most voted game can maybe be something kind of lame that maybe makes the whole category feel a little bit less prestigious. If I was in charge, I think I would keep it at 6.
Oh, fair enough.
But I'm not, because I'm an idiot. Who would put me in charge?
From Danger Man Lead, EA seems about Battlefield 24-2 in an extent to, especially with their... Okay, hang on. This one's... okay.
Just say it was poorly written, Jeff.
I don't want to call them out like that. EA seems about Battlefield 2042 and to an extent. Oh, I got a mad kid here.
Oh, this will help. Keep trying to read this.
Okay, let's see. Let's see if we parse. If 2042 does relatively just okay, despite the entire DICE Studios plus others poured into it with an extra year of development. But on the flip side, I don't really feel that Battlefield 2042 is a 3-year with likely maybe 1,000 plus EA devs working on this. I'm not sure if I can fully... I'm going to jump to the end here and see if there's like a good question we could just answer. Did like the destruction get... Okay, basically just asking like, what happened here? I mean,
what the fuck happened with Battlefield?
You could just said that. That's fair. I just wonder what the future of Battlefield is, because I'm kind of worried. And if there is a Battlefield 2023, almost certainly rushed out of the gate, I don't think there will be much goodwill towards DICE. Listen, I think DICE was in a tough situation where they've had some talent leave, and they're trying to figure out what their sort of voice still is, and are they still what DICE always was, and can they also try to make Battlefield something new and fresh while also staying true to what fans want, and also while dealing with the demands of EA. And it was a tough thing, and they took some extra time, and they still couldn't kind of get this one together. And I don't think that's entirely down to DICE. That definitely comes back to EA's publishing and overseeing of the franchise as well. But I think that DICE might be in a situation where it is a little bit more reined in next time, and things are a little bit more by the numbers. Or maybe they do bring in someone like Vince Zampella and say, hey, can you kind of show DICE how Respawn works?
There's only so much Vince Zampella to go around.
Right, yeah, that's true. That's a good point. But it's still, I mean, it feels like they might want to just apply that strategy here again. So I don't know. At a certain point, Battlefield needs to just keep being Battlefield. So they'll just kind of keep doing that. And I don't know how much they need Vince Zampella to make that work. So yeah. Another one from Danger Man. Would have been fun for multiverses to be violent like Mortal Kombat and see Duncan Idaho from Dune cut up King Joffrey from Game of Thrones. Yeah, that would have been fun.
They officially announced that game, huh?
Yes, the game's real. I hope that's on PC and we can get like mods for that game and get really crazy with it. I would like that. From Jedi Moss 4, Microsoft has said that they are done with adding games to their backward compatibility library, but nothing was said about FPS Boost. Has there been any word on the future of FPS Boost from Microsoft? No, but there was a reason they didn't say that was done. They're going to keep doing it. From Turbo Sean, happy Friday, Jeff. Still running with the flag grub, and Mike, Star Fox Assault convert Minotti. So apparently everyone needs their own Smash clone now. I want to know what we'll see the platform fighter we're all waiting for. GamesBeat Down, gaming media battle royale. GamesBeat Down is a good one there.
GamesBeat Down. Oh
yes.
Man, that's great. Yeah.
I want to see Jeff going at Jaffe with a folding chair. You could just see that anytime we're in a room together. And Mike in a tag team with MVG, Brian Altano, and John from Xbox Era, like they're the TMT in Injustice 2. I was going to suggest we call them the Bald Ninja Turtles, but then I realized turtles are always bald. That's fair. That's a good point.
It's so redundant.
Yeah, the bald crew there. That's frightening. From Delta Prime, my doctor changed my medication recently, and now I have a ton of difficulty sleeping at night. I know those struggles. Can you name some relaxing games to help me wind down and sleep? Any platform is fine. I find that playing a game where you have to do a lot of reading puts me to sleep, but that could just be me. So like any sort of like RPG or something like that.
Maybe play some Phoenix Wright. Most games keep me up, I'll be honest, because it just engages my brain too much.
Yeah.
The screen's too bright. Honestly, if you want to fall asleep, I would find some podcasts or some audiobooks or something like that. I just listened to what was it called? The Demon Haunted World by Carl Sagan was the last audiobook I finished. Ooh. I fell asleep to that almost every time. So that one worked.
For Blackheart Vinyl, I don't know why, but it was very funny to me that the Halo campaign embargo was 2 a.m. Is that unusual, or is it just me? It was pretty unusual. It was midnight.
Was it that?
It was midnight Pacific time is actually when it went up, and that's I don't know why. I'm trying. I mean, I'm sure it's just like a global thing, like midnight here, sometimes somewhere else. By the time everyone wakes up, in America, all the things will be live. They could just read it then. I don't know. It's tough to say exactly why they picked that time, though. I was like working on it last night and like, man, let me double check this embargo. I'm like, midnight? What the hell? All right, I guess I gotta get to work.
That's always usually happen, because usually the first time I look at embargo, I just look at the date. Really.
Yes. Yeah, same.
And then sometimes I double check and I look and it's like midnight. I was like, oh shit, that's due in 2 hours.
Yeah, it was 2 hours. That's exactly what it was. And I'm like, I can get this done. I can get a video done and write it up, and I did. That was fine. Screaming Madden. It would have been so much easier if my Xbox wasn't broken, but whatever. Last minute previews are fine. Screaming Madden. I got a silly question comparing the Game Awards to the College Football Playoff, which is more likely to happen in the next 5 years: a racing game getting nominated for the Game of the Year at the Game Awards, or a group of 5 conference teams like a Cincinnati or a Boise State reaching the 4-seeded College Football Playoff. Yeah, I think it's more likely that a group of 5 conference team makes it in than a racing game, honestly.
Well,
at this point.
If they remake Ridge Racer Type 4, it'll be a shoe-in. So
all right, never mind. Good point. Yeah, we just got.
There's the big game that I still need backward compatible and 60 FPS boost. Maybe it is backward compatible, but I need 60 FPS boost for Split Second, the most underrated game of the Xbox 360 era. Oh my god.
All right, another one from Screaming Madden. Which of these 2021 games locales would make for the best Hitman level? Castle Dimitrescu from Resident Evil Village, Nowhere from Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, or The Forgotten City from, The Forgotten City. Those are all really good locales. Castle Dimitrescu is probably the best, but
that's the one that that would fit, right? The other ones would be like, oh, this is like a weird place. Like the castle, that would be good. For
The Forgotten City, it would be fantastic. Actually, you could just put Agent 47 in there and go to town and have a good time. It's like, it almost feels like a kind of a slightly larger Hitman level already, so that's one of the reasons I like it.
So Split Second is backwards compatible. I just don't think it has 60 FPS boost, so I need that. And it could still happen. It's already backwards compatible, so they just got to get on that.
You got to start a social media campaign, Mike. Make it happen.
Well, I'll have to find a way to stream some Split. I think it has a PC port that's bad, but maybe we can see what we can do with it. But I'll stream some Split Second to get people to understand its brilliance.
I like this one from Epic Open World. Jeff, after seeing that Halo multiplayer clip Mike posted, just curious if now, when you message Mike to group up to play some more, you get responses like, sorry, Jeff, headed to Arby's right now. Or, I would love to, Jeff, but I'm washing my hair.
I will say the last time he just invited himself to my game. He didn't ask.
I just butted in. I'm like, I'm joining. I'm not even going to ask because I know he's going to say some shit like that. And then I played much better, and the world will never know. Epic Open World then says, with the news today that Halo co-op is not coming till May of next year at the earliest, do you think they should have delayed the campaign until next year? There's a large group of folks that only play the campaign and then they do it with friends, and for them, it is like the game still has no release date. Listen, then the game still has no release date for them, but the people who play solo can play it early. I mean, to me, that's the logical thing here. I will say, playing the game, that I think this is going to be a great game to play by yourself. And then I could see it being a very good time to then play a co-op again. It is not like you're pushing forward through an obvious like sort of corridor or anything like that like makes it like perfect for co-op. But it's like, it's exploring like that in that way. It is kind of like Far Cry, like just exploring this open world together could be a lot of fun. But I'm personally, I think the first way to play this should be solo. It seems like a really cool solo, like Master Chief just taking on the planet by himself. It seems like the canonical experience to have here, and I think that's going to be maybe not the best way, but it's definitely the right way the first time.
All right, so I'm talking about Halo. I got to talk about Split Second some more. Got to get back to important things.
Here we go. All right.
Says apparently 30 frames per second on PC, which is kind of what I was talking about. But he kind of infers that means they can't really finagle it to 60 FPS on console. It might be hard coded. Jeff, is this a thing? Is all hope lost?
No, I don't think it's hard. I don't think all hope is lost, because there are definitely some hard coded 30 frames per second games that got FPS boost. Like that's the whole thing with that magic, is like they're able to make it work. Even like, I mean, I think there was some games like this is like what would happen like Fallout. Like Fallout, if you increase the frame rate, all the physics breaks. Well, no, they were able to bypass that and still get 60 frames per second. They sort of just trick the engine is how it works. Okay. And so that tech should still work with Split Second, I believe.
All right, good. Hey, if you want to play a co-op game this holiday, I think Far Cry 5 has two-player co-op. There you go. There's your open world first-person shooter with co-op. It'll be just as good.
if it ran at 60 frames per second on PC, it would be really easy for them to just like, oh, we have more powerful hardware, just unlock it on that's not what FPS boost is.
Jeff
FPS
just completely sold my Far Cry tangent there. It was great.
Sorry, I honestly was still thinking about the answer, so I was not listening to you at all.
I was like, Jeff clearly was not listening to what I just said.
No, I'm sorry.
Just went right back to the other conversation.
And now it's lost forever. I'm sorry. I'm not. I don't want you to repeat it.
What I said. You have no idea what I said.
No, I have zero. You said something about Far Cry. Okay, whatever.
Jeff,
cool.
Ability to tune me out is incredible.
I mean, listen, I think it's a really important skill with working with Mike Minotti. From Louis Patelli, happy early Thanksgiving, fellas. Thank you, Louis. So can we confirm now that the Star Wars gaming announcement for December is Quantic Dream's game? If so, will we see gameplay or just a CGI trailer? I am still not sure that is what that is. I think that if it's not there, then that's at the Game Awards. I still think that is going to be like a controller or something. I don't know for sure, but like,
if we saw that game, it would be quote unquote gameplay, right? Those games don't have like CG like cutscenes or anything. The whole point is that they look really good. So if we see it, it'll be gameplay. Yes. It'll be cut to look like a movie trailer for sure, but it'll be the game.
Jeremy G, no question, just a shout out to all the community members, Mike and Jeff included, getting together to play Halo. It's been fun. Yeah, it has been a lot of fun.
We had a full squad at one point. We had a full 12 people.
There's a Halo channel inside the Discord, so if you guys just hang out there, when we play on PC, we just hit the button and you can just hit the join button from Discord. It's really easy to join. So come hang out with us if you want to play with us. I think you could do custom games if you have enough people. So maybe we can do some of that this weekend when we're streaming. From Alex, in parentheses, Sprite, fuck, marry, kill, TGA snubs, Returnal, Forza, Hitman 3. This one's pretty easy for me, Mike. How about you?
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy for me. I think, marry Hitman, fuck Forza, and we'll kill Returnal. We don't like. I mean, I like Returnal even less than you, and you're infamous for only kind of liking it. So.
Yes, yeah, that's my answer as well. I'm not going to say those words because I don't need it clipped out and put on PlayStation fanboy Twitter.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah. Let's see, from Lausian, hey guys, since I am somewhat of a new follower, what was the incident that got you guys thrown in Nintendo jail? And has that happened before with a different publisher, i.e. being blacklisted? So we're not blacklisted. That's not exactly the same thing. We just, we're being slightly punished. We don't get early code for reviews. That's all.
What happened was I reviewed Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. And in my coverage of it, I said how many cat shines there were in the game and how long it took me to beat Bowser's Fury. And these are both apparently things I was not supposed to talk about, and I just missed that. So and apparently they were very upset about this, and that's their prerogative. I did technically mess up, but yeah, it's the retribution for that is that we do not get early game codes. We still get game codes. Like we got codes for Pokemon today. So and we get the codes still.
They answer our questions. We have.
They send us all the releases, so it's really fine. I'm sure at some point they're going to stop. The only one that bothered me, like I was like a little sad about, was we didn't get Metroid early. Whatever. Then we still had Metroid coverage. I think I bought Metroid Dread and did my review, but then you got the code or whatever. Basically, it was my fault. And I don't think it's happened to anybody else before. I think some people have been a little like. They've had words with Jeff with his frequent leaking, but I don't think there's been super consequences.
And then in terms of like breaking embargoes, like I think I've like done the almost exact same thing as Mike, but most of the time it's like, man, you shouldn't have done that. I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't. I'm so sorry. All right, don't do it next time. Be more mindful than we are afterward. You don't need to put us in jail, but hey, whatever.
Mistakes happen, right?
Yep, exactly.
Now, I would always argue, I don't think anybody was hurt by finding out how many cat shines were in. I think they were very, I feel like they were very nervous that people, about Bowser's Fury and people thinking it was like this short little add-on.
Yes.
But everybody understood that that's kind of what it was, and no one was mad about it.
An experiment, an added experiment to this remake or whatever, this re-release. And they were a bit, I think, insecure about it, and they didn't need to be. Whatever, it's fine. From Alex Spritt again, screw my other question. Does Garrus have a soft or leathery butt?
I asked this I asked this on Twitter. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay. All right. Well, wait. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I get my answer? I think it's leathery. It's definitely a leathery butt.
Well, because my friend who she has a pretty she's obsessed with Mass Effect. She loves it. And she was just talking about Garrus sitting on her face. Not for the first time, might I add.
Of course,
so like,
as one does. Right. Yes.
Right. So I'm not trying to kink shame anybody, but I feel like that would be uncomfortable. I feel like it would be kind of scaly.
It would be really funny if he was like just leathery everywhere, and there was just this like lush sauce, just sticking out of his leathery parts. Yeah. Oh man, that's very okay. So we don't get a lot of like a fan art drawn, but if you want to do that and put me and Mike on either side of them, that's fine. From Cole Knapp, does Battlefield 2042 have a chance to make a comeback, or is it doomed? It has a chance, of course it does.
Everything has a chance for a comeback here.
It's very expensive, but it has a chance.
I will say, it seemed like there's a lot of people who started to think the whole comeback thing was easy because some games had done it, and that they could just say we're gonna make a comeback. Like with Anthem, they basically said we're gonna Final Fantasy 14 it, everybody, it'll be okay. Then after a while, they're like,
That's hard.
Like, we don't want to. No one cares anymore.
We're gonna go make another Dragon Age. We'll talk to you guys later.
And they basically like, hey, do you guys all care if we stop? And everyone's like, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you guys want Mass Effect trilogy instead? Yes, that would be great. What's Anthem? Yeah.
Yeah, just move on. It's fine. So it could happen. I don't think it will. I think we're just gonna think. Again, I feel bad like slamming. I haven't even really played it. I haven't. But it's kind of a bit of a detriment that I seem to have no interest in playing it.
From PJM, what should we start a Deadpool for how many days Bobby Kotick has left? My guess is about 7 days. See,
because I don't know if it could be today, it could be later today, it could be never. It could be he just somehow rises out somehow. So it's hard to say. It's hard to get that specific with days.
From Sosuke, hey Jeff and Mike, what do you guys prefer on Thanksgiving, a turkey or a roast? Also, what's your excitement level for Halo Infinite out of 10? I'm having so much damn fun with it.
Well, Jeff has it, so I guess
I'm not going to give an excitement level for the campaign out of 10 because that would be too close to like reviewing it. But in terms of the Halo Infinite multiplayer, my excitement level, I'm like a strong 8 or 9. Like I thought I was like, I'll play this a couple days and then I'll bounce off. Even after like my first day with it, which I was really enjoying. But as we keep going back, like especially after I messed up so bad, I like got the bug to like I need to like go back and just play better and like learn these levels better and like learn what I'm doing. And then that being a motivator was like, oh, I'm actually really enjoying myself now. And so yeah, I'm like at a strong 8 or 9.
I'm super high on Halo right now. I'm like, maybe 8, probably 9. I'm very high on it. I'm very excited for the campaign now. Look, I'm not saying turkey's my favorite Thanksgiving food, but it is the essential Thanksgiving food. It's not a Thanksgiving meal without turkey. You have to have some kind of a turkey there.
Yes. Yep. I just bought my turkey at the store last night or the night before. So yeah. Habitus, do you think we'll get the first or second Dragon Age remastered before Dragon Age 4? I know a trilogy remastered like Mass Effect is very unlikely, but maybe one of their early games can be remastered. Trilogy is really unlikely, but just because those games are so disparate, they use different engines. It's not like Unreal. It's not the same thing at all. So and also those stories are much more disconnected. You don't need to play them as a trilogy, really. I think that you saw some Origin gameplay the other day, and you're like, man, that looks really old.
I was shocked. That game was older than I remember, man.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense, because I remember that game didn't look that good when it came out, because it was kind of like running on some older type, but everybody just liked it because it was this really big, classic RPG experience that had some of like the modern. It was almost like the sequel to KOTOR in a lot of ways in terms of a BioWare thing, maybe even a bit more so than. It was like KOTOR meets Baldur's Gate, like some of their older stuff. It was very good. I'd be very interested in playing it. I think that remastering or remaking Dragon Age 1 makes a lot of sense. Dragon Age 1 also stands. It also stands on its own pretty well. It really doesn't need the sequels. It's a very big game. I think that would make a lot of sense.
All right, we got just a handful more, and then we'll get back to the super chats and then talk about some other stuff. From Eric Layton, have you heard anything about Project Condor, the multiplayer game set in the Control universe? I have not heard much more about that. That they have a lot of projects happening over at Remedy. Yeah. I would not necessarily count on this one coming anytime soon, but that's as much as I've heard about it. Nothing specific.
Oh, the Thanksgiving talk's making me hungry. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm
gonna
really
devour
looking
some
forward
food
to
after
it.
this.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to rush. It's fine. I'm just saying.
No,
going to eat
I feel the
well.
same way. No, we'll get through this stuff. We'll be fine. Then we'll go eat. The food will just taste better. Hunger's the best spice and all that stuff. Yeah. From Zach, any idea what Roundhouse and Alpha Dog Games are working on? We've heard no rumors at all about their projects. Those were the recent acquisitions by Sony. Roundhouse Games.
This one's all you.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm sorry. Bethesda. These are the other Bethesda ones. That's right. Like the sort of smaller Bethesda studios that got acquired during that acquisition that people were like didn't have much to say about. I don't know for sure. I haven't heard one way or the other. I think Alpha Dog was working on something mobile related, but maybe I'm making that up. No, nothing to say about those. I'll look into it sometime soon, but we'll probably hear about their games next year. From Jedi Moss 4, Battlefield is in a precarious position partially thanks to a weak early access launch and Halo multiplayer stopping all over Battlefield's launch. What can Battlefield do to recover? I mean, drop the price and improve everything. I mean, like, you just got to make a better game at this. Like, shore up the bugs, obviously. And then I think, like, try to find the parts of the modes that are really working and emphasize that. Some people are having a good time with Battlefield. I just think it is so much easier to get into Halo because if you want to play with your friends, you don't have to convince them to spend a bunch of money on a game. It's just it's like such a tough thing to battle against. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe put it into the EA play thing first and then go from there. From Havutus, I know this is more of a Nintendogs question, but do you guys think the Professor Layton series will come to the Switch? I think before we're all said and done, there will be a Professor Layton game on the Switch.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah. And then finally from Zach, with the TGAs clearly being positioned to be the premier game awards show in the industry and our version of the Oscars, do you think devs should have a voice in them as well? Devs only award the only dev award show is DICE, but they don't get near as enough attention. Yeah, I mean, the gaming's Oscars already exist. It's called the Academy of Interactive Art and Sciences DICE Awards. But it just wasn't marketed that way, and so Jeff Keighley swooped in and kind of made this other thing. Listen, should devs have a say? They have their say in their own awards, and I kind of wish that was the awards that people kind of valued more than this one that we kind of vote on a whim.
Guess which one got the exclusive game reveals?
Yes, exactly, and that's kind of how it's going to be. So, honestly, that's probably what the Oscars going to start doing to like remain relevant, right? Like start having big movie reveals if they want to like get people watching. So things are going in the direction of the Game Awards. I don't think that he's going to change the way voting happens anytime soon. And really, it's not our awards. I don't really care if he does. That's his choice. All right, let's see here, Mike. That does it for the community questions. Any more super chats?
Yeah, we do have a few more super chats. Let's do these. Uriel Delgado says, missed it last week, but for a remake, give me Earthbound in the style of Link's Awakening remake, but isometric. Halo looks amazing. So Uriel's answering our Last Nintendogs question. We were asking people what Nintendo game they would like to see remade here. Yeah, I like it. Supernova says, who won the Super Mario Strikers match? Was winning easy breezy, lemon squeezy. All right, Jeff won 2 out of 3 on that. That's true.
I mean, and by a significant margin, all right? The last game was like 6-1 or whatever. Yeah, I just want to make sure I was stomped you. I want to make it clear.
Okay, wow. All right. I'm going to be practicing more Mario Strikers now.
It worked really well.
Jeff?
Yeah. I don't remember. That was early in the night. Who can remember so far away?
Camden Williams says Fruit Ninja is impossible without Kinect. Get serious. The question wasn't what games are actually better with Kinect. There's some games that need Kinect, and sure, yeah.
I love this.
Although,
I would
say
it's serious.
I think you're still better playing those games without Kinect because then you don't have to play them.
Yes, exactly.
Fruit Ninja was kind of fun. Uriel Delgado says, if you were forced to give Ball and Wonderworld a positive award, what would it be?
Best musical performance. The dancing, best dance sequence or something like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. The super chats, Jeff.
All right. Well, Mike, what games have you been playing?
Well, we did play a lot of GameCube games. I think we should wait until Nintendogs to talk about a lot of that.
Yeah, we talked about Mario Strikers a little bit. That's the one I would want to talk about. But there was a lot of cool stuff that you were playing when I was done, and it was cool to see like Star Fox Assault. We'll talk about that on Nintendogs. If you are interested, tune into that on Tuesday mornings. We'll be doing that next week. So
I've been really steeped in that whole generation, whichever number it is, because I've also been playing a lot of Knights of the Old Republic on my Switch. Which like at first I just started as a curiosity because I got a code, and now I'm just straight up playing through Knights of the Old Republic again. That game is just so much fun. I'm having fun this time because like this time I'm actually just like found like a character building guide, and I'm just trying to make like the super optimal build.
That's a good idea. I should do that.
Well, it's fun because it requires you to only level up once throughout the entire first planet. Like you can't do any more level ups because you're saving all of those like level up points for when you unlock Jedi. So it kind of becomes this interesting challenge at first, right? So
that's fun. Yeah, it's like the Nuzlocke version of Knights of the Old Republic almost in a weird way. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So you know, I'm doing that, but then eventually I'll like when I become a Jedi, I'll be very strong and it'll be very exciting. But yeah, man, like obviously it looks like an Xbox game. I still find that endearing and think that it looks plenty good enough. The production values though for back then are still pretty incredible. The music's fantastic. The voice acting is good at a time when that was far from being a given. You know, it's just very Star Warsy. I love it. Like during that first planet, it has like the kind of pristine looking top side and like the really like then it's like these layers, and the lower you get, like the
dingier and dingier. That's such a good concept for a Star Wars planet. Like that was always the promise of oh God, I can't even remember, the Corellia or whatever, not Corellia, the Central Planet, whatever it was.
Yeah, Coruscant.
Coruscant, thank you. Yes, and it's like I always love that concept, and Knights of the Republic delivered on that maybe better than anything has. Like the movies never did a good job with that.
Even like some of the silly games, I'm just finding comforting. Like scum saving before I played the card game, was it Pazak or something? So that if I lose, I can just reload and play again until I make the money that I want. But yeah, like it's really cool having this game on Switch, man. It's kind of dangerous because like I'm staying up too late because I just keep playing Knights of the Republic again. It's fantastic. Like I'm excited for the remake. That's gonna be cool. But this game is still very good. It's still my favorite Star Wars game, I think, pretty easily. It's just fantastic.
I've been playing a little bit of that, but I'm still trying to beat Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm right at the end of that game though. Guardians of the Galaxy is
I need to start that.
Is really good actually. It really lives on the strength of its characters and its writing, which gets better throughout the game. And I'm just like, it's just cool to spend time with them and to make decisions. And when things change, like the game does a good job of like taking characters out of the equation to make sure that like you feel consequences and stuff like that. There are branching paths that like aren't there. It's not going to branch off to like become a completely different game, but you are going to see different scenes and play out in very different ways. And it's cool to know that. We're like talking to other people about what happened with them and be like, oh wow, that happened completely different with me. Like that's actually really neat. And it's still just a solid game that I'm enjoying playing whenever I get a chance.
This is like a critical one of my games I need to finish here. This and the Forgotten City or whatever. I really need to get to this. Game's on. They put this game on sale pretty recently, which I think might be a sign of like the sales being kind of slow.
Very weak.
Yeah, everybody seems so high on it though. It really is just paying for the sins of the Avengers, which is a damn shame, it seems like. But maybe word of mouth will give it some legs.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it does better. I hope it stays on the chart for its second month. I guess we'll see. And then, Mike, we've been playing a lot of Halo Infinite multiplayer. We talked a little bit about this, but any other thoughts about that that you want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, just I've been having a lot of fun. It's neat that I can play with. I have a lot of friends who want to play on console, and I have some friends who can only play on PC, really. And I can like do whichever one I want. And I like playing on PC because it's easy for my streaming and stuff like that. So it's great how relatively well that works. There was some funkiness of like trying to get voice chat figured out if we didn't want to just use Discord, like
right.
Like we were trying just to use the Xbox stuff, and it was a little funky there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it all works really well. That game is super fun. It's super. So you're talking a bit about Halo Infinite's campaign. Feels like what if we were making Halo 1 again today? This kind of does feel like that. Like
yes.
This does bring me back to that OG Halo feeling, whereas like some of the other Halo games, I said before, I wish I can articulate why this feels better. It did feel like some of the other Halo games were too concerned with trying to move it forward, and this one is just doing a very good job of making a very good Halo multiplayer experience. Yep. Oh, Pablo Cross asked which game has the longest title. I thought I said it last week when somebody asked me what would Mike Minotti something be. It was Mike Minotti's Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Survivor, Ryu Hobashu versus King Abaddon, right? Like that's the full name. There's also that is an expansion, but there was the Lord of the Rings, the Battle for Middle Earth 2, the Wrath of the Witch King or something like that. There's some long ones out there.
Yeah. All right, Mike. I think we should wrap this up. All I can think about is eating now, so that's where I'm at. Yeah.
I wish that the Arby's was open inside because I would just love to. Like, I don't want to bring food home right now. I want to go inside some warm restaurant and watch something on my phone.
Nice. Everybody will do that in forever because of the kids.
Yeah. Oh, Arby's used to be so cozy at Christmas time too. They would put up a nice tree. You used to sell those like very nice Christmas goblet things, like glass. Oh, those things are beautiful. Holy crap. Yeah. Oof. I'm going to see. Maybe my Arby's finally opened up inside. I don't know. Probably not, but I can dream.
We're rooting for you, Mike. I hope you get to go somewhere and make yourself cozy for the holidays. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We're going to get out of here. I'm going to hit this outro button right now.
No dine-in. Oh, well.
Mike, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Tokoto, Tolkoto. Speaking of Tokoto, I've been streaming a bit more at twitch.tv/Tokoto. You can follow me there, find out when I'm going live. We're going to be streaming some more Halo. I'm going to become an affiliate soon. That's exciting. And check out Last of Nintendogs, the podcast I do with Jeff on Tuesday about Nintendo. We'll be talking about our GameCube experience. And check out 90s Disney, my 90s Disney podcast at 90sdisney.com.
I am Jeff Grubb on Twitter. I've been hanging out with Mike on his Twitch streams. If he goes live, I'll tweet about it as well to help him get to this affiliate. I'm excited about that for him. Definitely, if you get a chance, go check out his VOD of that GameCube stream. It was a lot of fun. We should maybe back that up on YouTube so we can keep it and maybe post it on the site, just talking about GameCube games or whatever. Yeah, and then discord.gg/GameMess. Come hang out with us. We will be playing a lot of Halo. I know Brad was talking about getting with us. Brad, go check out the Halo channel. And if you want to play some Halo with us this weekend, I'll be on there for sure.
I'm seeing Ghostbusters tonight, but maybe I'll be able to play a little bit tonight. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll be on Saturday and stuff like that. We'll see. And then yeah, I don't know. I really look forward to Thanksgiving next week. We'll do a show on Friday, just after Thanksgiving.
Well, I mean, we'll be working. Yeah, we can do a show. It'll be during work hours, anyways. I don't think we get Black Friday off, do we? I have to think about that. I'm sure we could do a show. What are we gonna be shopping all day? Yeah,
right now, yeah. That's cool. I always kind of take a half day on that day, anyhow. So yeah.
I think we all take a kind of quiet day. There's no news.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So we'll come in and we'll do this show, and maybe that'll be the work we do that day. All right. Any other plans this weekend, Mike? You're going to see that movie, playing Halo. Anything else going on for you?
I have a Friendsgiving tomorrow. Although I was only told to bring alcohol, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. We'll see. We haven't had it. We live out here all by ourselves. We haven't had one of those in a long time, but I always enjoy that sort of thing. I'm looking forward to cooking all day on Thanksgiving Day, though. I'm going to make that food, watch the Lions lose, and just have
it's getting close to the real best holiday of the year, December 8th, my birthday. So everyone start planning.
Bye, everybody. We'll have a good one. See you next time. Bye.
Ghostbusters, Andy.